This episode is rated M for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of the PFC Entertainment Network or any of the affiliates that make this show possible.
This is the Pure Fury Creations Entertainment Network.
On tonight's show, back to reality for the Tigers as they make some interesting roster moves. Plus, taking his talents to Philly, LeBron James signs with the 76ers. And Nathan Mulugeta and Cody return to break down all the other news and headlines in sports as the Sports Reel podcast begins right now.
If it's in the headlines, on the first page or the last, it's fair game here on the Sports Reel podcast.
And we welcome you to the real reason why Tuesdays were invented. This is the Sports Reel podcast, live on the PFC Entertainment Network, along with Tim Sheridan. I'm Jason Clouse. We certainly appreciate you tuning in. Eric Mendal is on his way to the studio, but we have two very special guests that are joining us here this week, two of our favorites. I don't mind saying Cody from Catching Up with Cody is with us, as well as one of my favorite guests that we've had on this show. And I talked about it a little bit before we came on the air. Nathan Mulugeta is with us, and if you tuned in to the last time he was on the show, he shared such an inspiring story that led him to the here and now. And I was telling you, Nathan, before we came on the air, like I was able to use your story a couple of times in real conversations, just how inspiring your story is. And I had a real in-depth conversation with my son to the point to where he was so, inspired and motivated. He started doing research on you. And I'm like, man, that's what it's all about, right? But it's great to have you back on the show. How's things with you, my friend?
Doing well. Just waiting for the next opportunity to get back on the field. That's for sure.
Yeah, the last time you were on here, you were getting ready to play for the Tall City Black Gold for the Continental Football League. I haven't been staying up to date with it like I wanted to. Are you still with the team? Are you still with the CFL?
No, not by any means.
Okay.
Things didn't really work out there. But just staying poised and still working. Been working my ass off for the next opportunity. Going to be hitting a couple of showcases, some UFL showcases this upcoming fall. I know I looked into Mexico a little bit. The LFA is getting really big. I just want to get to the next stepping stone, regardless of where. Very excited to just get back on a team and produce.
So one thing about you, man, is, that has been the consistent part of your story. You don't stop. No matter what happens, no matter what's thrown in your way, no matter what the obstacle is, you find a way to overcome that. And that's the basis of any time I've been able to mention you. I'm like, look, you think shit's bad now, but look at what this guy has overcome, and look what he's doing. You are truly an inspiration. Cody, I was on your show last week, and it was an absolute pleasure. I love what you're doing with Catching Up with Cody, and it's great to have you back here on the Sports Reel podcast. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I had my show again last night with the Last Row podcast, so that went well. Another great networking guy that I'm going to be keeping in touch. But yeah, just glad to be here. And, I wish I could be in studio, but it's been such a busy week already that I'm like, I got to get some shit figured out. So appreciate you guys having me on as always, and it's going to be a great episode.
Yeah, I chuckle because I feel you. Like I showed you a preview of the graphic for our upcoming week here at the PFC network, and busy seems to be, the key word here. Tim, when we talk about busy, we gotta be talking about the Detroit Tigers, because they have, and this is where we're gonna kick off this week. The Detroit Tigers are making a lot of moves here, especially within the last hour or so, with the news that Javier Baez is being called back up off the injured list. He's in the starting lineup here tonight as they continue their series with the Baltimore Orioles. But much to the shock of many, Jake Rogers has been designated for assignment. And while there is some people I saw in the chatter that saw this coming, I, for one, did not. I'm a little bit surprised that if they were going to, cut anybody, it wasn't going to be Jake Rogers, because this guy has really assumed a leadership role in that clubhouse. It's been well documented. All the players like him. He is a source of motivation on that team. And I'm seeing things, well, he was a great ball player, he's going to make a great manager, this and the other thing. I'm like, well, calm down. No one's saying he's retiring. No one's saying that there's not another team that might be interested in him. His playing days are not done. Unfortunately, it just seems like it's that way of him wearing a Tigers uniform. What was your takeaway with the news of this afternoon that Rogers had been designated for assignment?
I mean, it was surprising because, like you said, he's kind of that name in that clubhouse that all the guys kind of get around, and he is kind of like the heart and soul of that clubhouse, and he's got one hell of a mustache. Like, you can't take that away from him at all. Like, that guy. And I mean, what the fuck are they going to do now for bullpen pitching? When they run out, like, he was the guy that would go out there and throw that 37-mile-an-hour fastball. And it was always fun to watch. Like, it was, absolutely wild. But yeah, this one kind of caught me by surprise because he was also a good catcher, but when you got Dingler out there, you got Dingler. Do you need Jake Rogers in that position? Maybe not. You know what I mean? And they got a few other prospects down there, that they can play around with. But at the same time, like, you don't take the mustache out of the clubhouse because that guy is wild. And one other thing I had to say, Nathan, Tall City Black Gold, I had conversations with you. That's for the better, brother. Leave that shit in the past, because me and you've talked about that. And I know, I don't want to trash the team. You don't want to trash the team, but there's a bright future out there for you, brother, and you're going to find it. And I know you can, because I watched enough film of you to know that you got what you need, but all I'm going to say is you just need a fucking quarterback. That's all I'll say. But other than that, Jake Rogers, he's going to be missed here. He's going to be picked up somewhere. You can't pass up a player like that. That's that fun, that lighthearted, and rocks that, superb facial hair. Like, he's going to wind up somewhere.
Cody, what's your reaction to the news of Baez coming back to the lineup? He's going to be he's in the 9th spot here tonight, playing center field. A lot of people he's one of the guys that we've been awaiting to return from injury. We've said, look, if we can get our core pieces back in the lineup and healthy, the trajectory of this team could improve greatly. But it all depends on what kind of Baez we're getting back. If we get 2016 Baez, we're in a good spot. If we're getting 2024, 2025 Baez, it's a little bit to be desired. Between that Rogers being designated for assignment. What's your overall feeling about the Tigers right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's Javi Baez, kind of like you said, he's up and down. There's good years and bad years with him. As far as him playing center field, I feel like that's his best position that he's been playing at. So it makes me feel a little bit better in that aspect. Jake Rogers, unfortunately, with him being gone, he was a good catcher, like you guys said. But I think, with I can't remember what his name is. We just talked about him off air. The other young catcher that we have.
Valencia?
Yeah, I think bringing in some of these young guys is going to hopefully help the team. I was just at the game on Sunday, and I mean, some of these young guys that we have, I mean, if we can just get the right pieces that, fit that puzzle, I think we'll be good. But hopefully Baez, with all this time off, hopefully he can come back to be that 2016 Baez, like you were saying.
Yeah, he was really one of those key pieces of the 16 Chicago Cubs World Championship team. And like, I was so excited when he came to Detroit, and then he got here and kind of shit the bed, if I can be honest with you. I'm like, wait a minute. Where's Javi Baez? Because this guy ain't it. Like, what happened to him? But, you move him around the field a little bit. You put him in a better situation where he's feeling more confident, more comfortable, where he feels like he can be a veteran on this team. We've seen these glimpses where he can do a lot of good, make a lot of positive strides. So I'm with you in the aspect of he's had a lot of time off. He hasn't played, I believe, since April the 28th. So he's had a lot of time. And hopefully when he comes into Comerica Park here tonight to play the game with the Baltimore Orioles, we're going to see the absolute best version of Javi Baez. Let's take a look at what the Tigers did last week. Started out real strong. They dominated the series with the Chicago Cubs. On Tuesday, a huge 11-2 win over the Cubs. Wednesday, they followed that up with a 5-1 win. Then they would split the series with Kansas City. Worst case scenario, we had to have them at least split. That's what they did. They won the first two. The Royals came back and won the second two. And then last night, they kicked off a 3-game set with the Orioles. They dropped one 8-5. The big winner in that game, if you've been paying attention to TikTok, is the squirrel that was on the loose at Comerica Park. They're going to wrap up with the Orioles tomorrow night, and then they're heading out to Sacramento.
Sacramento loves you, Jason. Sacramento loves you.
I'm running for mayor out there, Tim. I don't mind telling you. Big weekend series with the Athletics, and then they're going to stay out west for the better part of next week. They got a big series with the Seattle Mariners coming up. And as a quick sidebar, we just poked fun, and if you've been paying attention to the show, the fine folks in Sacramento and I are in something of a disagreement. So as an olive branch, I went ahead and launched a whole merchandise line of just how much I appreciate and love the city of Sacramento. To my surprise, within 48 hours of me announcing this, a gentleman named, I'm going to butcher his last name, but his first name is Jorge Vela. I said this to Vinny. He's like, let's just call him Venezuela. So that's what we'll do. Purchased one of the green I Love Sacramento shirts, and it's on its way to Sacramento, California right now. So thank you for that. That warmed my heart to no end, Tim. Heel or not, brother, we're still in people's mouths.
I'm telling you, they're only a heel when it comes to the shit that you say. Like, if I say the same shit you do, they all fucking agree with me and applaud it. But as soon as you say it, they're like, fuck this guy. Like, get him off the air. Like, no. It makes no fucking sense to me. But speaking of MLB, Nathan, do you follow any baseball out there? I know you're out of California. Do you got a team you follow out there? Or do you follow any other team?
Honestly, whenever my friends ask me to want to like go to a Dodger game, so that's pretty much it. But as far as following the MLB, nah. Yeah,
I mean,
strictly football.
Yeah, you got the Dodgers in the backyard. I mean, that's a team that we talk a lot of shit about on this show, but maybe that's just because we're Detroit fans and we we hate how they operate things out there. But that could be coming to a change here eventually too, if there is a lockout and they start changing the way that they do things, and put a salary cap on baseball, which I think is is much deserved at this point in time, because it is becoming just who can spend the most money league, which is, not very fun for some of the smaller market teams or even the mid-level market teams like what we have. So like it'll be kind of weird to see if that actually happens. I don't know if it'll happen. It's been up for debate here for a while. They'll have to figure some shit out to kind of try to avoid it, because Jason's part of the camp that if they go into a lockout, it could kill baseball overall. And I'm not quite sure if it will or not. Only time will tell. Jason,
Definitely.
We never really talked about that. I mean, at great length. What would your opinion be? Could baseball survive another lockout like the one that we saw in 1994 that canceled the World Series?
that was towards you, Cody.
Oh, sorry. I mean, I could probably see it happening. I know I've kind of been reading up on it and everything. I don't know. I feel like they just need to come up with something like before the season, starts, because, without any baseball, I know I'm not a huge baseball fan, but, I'll casually watch the games, obviously always the Tigers games and stuff. So I think with a lockout, like, yeah, they might lose a little bit of fans for maybe that season. I don't think it'll be like a long-term thing as far as losing fans. But I feel like once they do go into lockout, I mean, I'd probably be that person that's like, okay, well, they already shortened the season, and I kind of forgot about baseball, and all these other sports are kind of happening right now. So I feel like short term they would lose some fans. I don't think necessarily long term they would.
Fair. That's a fair assessment. And especially like you said, at that time when if the lockout was to happen, it's going to be right in the thick of the NBA season and the NHL season, and those two entities are going to be the ones who wind up benefiting from a disgruntled baseball fan looking for something to occupy or to scratch that sports itch, right? Because if you're a sports fan, I don't have to tell any of you guys this. It kind of becomes ingrained in who we are and what we are, and like we got to have that dopamine hit. You know what I mean? We got to have something, and we'll use this as a transition.
Hold on real quick before you transition out of MLB,
Yes.
because we did have a comment on that video I put out from Ball Game where you and Vinny were talking about how hot the Red Sox are becoming right now after, firing their manager and getting the interim manager or whatever. And Brad Wilson had asked if he asked you if you thought it was Cora's fault why they weren't doing so well in the beginning. I told him that I'd ask on the show, so...
I mean, you kind of have to look into it, because look what the Red Sox have done since the change up with the managers, especially so early into the season. And like the Boston Red Sox have always been a dangerous team. But Scott, our friend, friend of the show, Scott, he's a huge Red Sox fan. He can, really
I knew there was something fucking bad about him.
But you look and see what the Red Sox have done. They went on a historic 15-game winning streak. What was the catalyst of that? I gotta believe the change in management, with the manager is a huge part of that. Something sparked the fire under the asses of this team, and I feel like whether it was some sort of underlying tension or high key tension in the clubhouse. We've talked about that with our teams. We've talked about that with players on our teams. It takes one bad apple to spoil the whole bunch. I mean, to really prevent it from performing at its top level. And why? They should be professionals. But if you don't have that kind of motivation, you're not going to perform well. And that was clearly evident with what was going on with Boston. 3 weeks ago, they were in the tank. They weren't doing shit. And now, as we sit here, they're like 3 games back of a wild card spot. That is unheard of. But it's because of this incredible winning streak that they went on. And yeah, a lot of blame can be put on Cora. A lot of blame. I don't know, man. It's the proof is on the field. You make a change like that, and then the Boston Red Sox go on this incredible tear. If I'm the New York Yankees, I am shitting my pants right now, because the one team that they do not want to mess with at all is the Boston Red Sox. It doesn't matter if they've won 50 games or 2 games. The Red Sox come to play the Yankees. But now when you get this kind of momentum, the New York Yankees are on the hot seat right now, for sure.
Well, there you go, Brad. There's your answer. And I also want to point out that Scott said, and Scott's usually the guy who gives us our best sports advice here. And usually when we need an answer, he said it wasn't Cora's fault. He said the man won a World Series with the team. The only reason the Red Sox are doing so good is the pitching is overachieving this year. And he said this team made the playoffs last year, and Henry fired up the whole staff on a power trip. It's not like the team didn't perform. It wasn't even a month into the season before they fired Cora. So, I mean, it can go either way. I guess it just depends on how you look at it. Jason's got his opinion. Scott has his. I don't have an opinion because it's the fucking Red Sox, and I don't care. Jason, let's move on from MLB.
No, and I can appreciate what Scott's saying. But like I said, like he dials in to the Boston Red Sox. I don't dial in on them. I'm just seeing. I'm talking about what I see. There was a change in the manager spot. And then the Red Sox turned around and went on this winning streak. Whether it's pitching, whatever the case may be, nothing was happening with Cora here. And granted, he's had a lot of success. And I was just as shocked as anybody when I heard that they were making that change. I'm like, damn, really? Now? Why would you do that? And then I kind of forgot about the Boston Red Sox, because when they made that change, I'm like, well, they've clearly have already thrown the towel in on this season. So I'm not even going to pay attention to it unless they give me something to pay attention to. Well, then 15 games later, I'm over here like, holy shit, like the Boston Red Sox are on fire right now. And this is one of those teams, man, like they ride momentum. That's been historic with them. It's either really good momentum or really bad momentum. There's not a lot of wiggle room in the middle there. So I respect what Scott's saying. And, I'm not going to argue with him. I'm just looking at it from, I'm not a Red Sox fan by and large, unless they're playing the Yankees. But that's what it is. I didn't write this script. That's the one that's being presented to me.
I mean, we got Kyle Gifford right in the chat that's agreeing with you. He's blaming it on Cora, and Scott's going the other way. So I don't know. Maybe we can make a I Love Boston t-shirt for you too, because I have a feeling you're going to get Boston fans after your ass. But other than that, let's move on from the MLB and get into a little bit of NBA news with the biggest. And this is the question I have for Nathan, because Nathan, I know you're from California, brother, and LeBron just left. How do you feel about LeBron leaving California? Do you think he should have just retired or went back to the Cavs? Because I thought he should have went back to the Cavs and kind of finished out his career there. But obviously he's still ring chasing. So what's your feeling on LeBron?
Honestly, I thought he was gonna go back to the Cavs. I thought for the little farewell tour he'd want to be back home. I thought they have a pretty good squad right now. Their backcourt's extremely talented, but I didn't think it was the best fit as it is the best fit with the 76ers. We just talking about fit. I can understand him going to the Sixers or the Warriors. But I feel like at this point in his career, he does have to be a ball dominant type of guy, because he doesn't have the athleticism to play out on the wing 24/7. So Sad to see for sure. I mean, he was the star of the city, but I could definitely understand the move.
Yeah, no, like I can understand what he did because he's it feels like a ring chasing move, like he's done all of his career for the most part. And like I gave LeBron a lot of credit this past postseason because he kind of carried the Lakers as far as they went, to get to where they were because with all the injuries on the team and stuff like that, it was put on the back of LeBron. So we all know that LeBron could still play. Even at I think what is he 73 years old or whatnot. Like he's an old ass man. But I'm sorry, like I'm a Jordan guy. I think Jordan's the GOAT. So I'll always talk shit about LeBron. But much credit, like I thought I thought it was going to be the Cavs. The Cavs or Miami was my bet, or Golden State, and teaming up with Steph. I thought that would be kind of cool to see those two team up. But the 76ers were not on my radar for him to go. And like, I think he's going to need to play a little bit more than what he thinks he's going to play because Embiid's going to be sitting on the bench watching him injured. You know what I mean? So, like, because that guy can't seem to stay healthy throughout a season. So, I'm waiting to see how this season turns out. But on paper right now, the 76ers looks pretty stacked adding LeBron. And I think they could have a chance at making a run at it next year if everybody can stay healthy. And I think that's the issue there. But I was sad to see it wasn't the Cavs because if you're going to finish out your career somewhere, I think it should be where they started. Now, Cody, I know we've had these discussions and stuff like that, but we haven't had it on this show. So what are your thoughts of LeBron going to the 76ers?
Yeah, I was kind of shocked like everybody else was. I heard when he came out and he was like, yeah, I didn't think I was going to be on a team. I think, it was going to be time for me to hang it up. I don't really think that he actually believed that. I think that was just kind of a public thing that he had to throw out there because it was taking so long for either him to find a team or for a team to decide they actually wanted to bring him in. I've said it, a couple times. I don't think every team that was on his list, whether it be Miami, Golden State, Philly, I don't think they all had that same 2-year, $8 million contract option. I think he kind of picked and choose where and who was going to give him some money. And I think when nobody was really giving him the money he thought he was going to get, I think he kind of toned it down a little bit. But yeah, I kind of, I'm not a huge LeBron fan. I wish he would have just ended it in Cleveland. I think it would just be a kind of full circle moment. But we'll see. I mean, after these 2 years, maybe he will go back to Cleveland and that will be his farewell tour. But I mean, he'll be, I think, 44 or 43 at the time of this contract's over. So
he's in his 70s, bro.
Oh, yeah. So sorry, 75. He'll be 75 by the time.
No disrespect to LeBron's one of the greatest to ever do it. He's just not my GOAT. You know what I mean? But like, I just, yeah, I mean, I'm right there. Like, but when you're talking about the money, it's 2 years, $8 million. That ain't shit in the league. You know what I mean? So he took whatever he could get to get where he is. So, Jason, what's your thoughts on LeBron going to Philly?
He is a bitch.
Hot take.
I think it's bullshit, dude. If I'm Cleveland, if I'm the city of Cleveland, if this guy goes back after this contract with the 76ers is over, if he was to go back to Cleveland for 1 year for the big retirement tour or what have you, I would take every opportunity. If I'm a Cleveland Cavaliers fan, if I'm somebody that supported this guy from day one, and I've watched him kind of dangle that carrot in front of our face only to go to another team in the East, fuck you. Fuck you and everything that you stand for. This is why you will never be in a lot of circles on the same level of Michael Jordan. Because you don't play the way it's perceived by a lot of people. You don't play because you want to win, or you don't play because you love to play. You play because you want to win. You want to pick and choose and create these super teams all over the circuit to provide you with another ring, which is great in the grand scheme of things. And statistically speaking, you're going to go down in a lot of circles as the best of all time. Congratulations. To me, you will never be, because you don't have the same kind of heart. You don't have the same kind of desire that not just Jordan, but the whole era of the NBA before the here and now became now in 2026. And we saw this with the Pistons. We saw this with a couple of other teams. Boston, there's teams that are trying to restore what made the NBA so great. And then you've got flop houses, these pussies like LeBron James, who take a back bump faster than a pro wrestler does. Worse, too, I might add, that he, like, you are not, you will never be on the same level. And this bullshit with the 76ers and dangling that carrot in front of Cleveland, nah, man, like, I'm done with you. We sat here, or you guys sit here, Eric especially, talking about, hi, Eric, by the way. You're talking about Patrick Mahomes blowing out his ACL.
You take that out of your mouth. Did you say shit like that?
I'm
greatest quarterback to ever play the fucking game.
I'm using that. I'm not saying that's what I want. I'm using this as an example. I can understand that mentality now, because I would have that mentality if I was a vindictive person on somebody like LeBron James. Fuck him. Get him out of the league. Let's move on to a new chapter. That's all I got to say.
First off, I gotta say, when you just said
we need I Heart LeBron shirts now.
And when he said he's a bitch, Nathan, your eyes went wide, brother. Welcome to the regular Sports Real podcast, man. The shit gets a little wild sometimes.
Yeah.
I can see.
Yeah,
I can definitely see.
Hey, there's some hot takes on this show, and usually it's from Jason, and a lot of people out there hate him, and he fucking loves it. Eric, you just joined the show, man. Let's catch you up. We're talking about LeBron right now.
I was listening. You don't gotta catch me up. I'm listening, and then I had to listen to Jason's hot take, and I was like, must be his time of the month or something.
Yeah,
no, man, it's fucking Tuesday. What do you mean? This is the real reason why Tuesdays were invented.
All right, break down LeBron going to Philly, Eric.
What do I have to say? Jason just said it all.
All right.
What else is there to
That
say?
makes it fucking easy.
I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for him to go to Philly, but I see why he did, and I kind of agree with Nathan more. It makes sense, but we'll see what happens. Do I like that he's in the East? No, because he's got to play the Pistons, but it is what it is. We're going to see what happens.
So my question now, Eric and Cody, anybody, Nathan, if you want to chime in on this,
please
with
do.
LeBron going to Philadelphia, does that make the 76ers the team to beat in the East now, or is it still the New York Knicks show?
I think it's the Sixers by far now, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah.
I think it's not even close. I understand that, but just off what the 76ers can do now, to have the athleticism and size and shooting everywhere, there's just no deficiency other than if they move VJ to the bench. That's I was gonna say right now their only deficiency is the bench, but I mean, if we want to talk about roster for roster, it's the Sixers in the East right now.
That's fair.
That's a very fair statement. And
Yeah.
I can this is, like I said before, I thought that they are now the favorites, you know what I mean, moving forward, because it almost is another super team that LeBron has just built around them. And
he didn't build, he just went there.
I know he went there, but
it's not like Miami where they all, him and Bosch chose to go there with Wade.
Let's wait to see what the fuck happens over the next couple of months, because it's the off season, and see what they add there also, you know what I mean? So it's still early. He's got a chance to get his little fingers into ownership and management of that team and stuff like that. So let's see what that team does. But LeBron has, this always somehow power to be able to build shit around himself. And granted,
he's the GOAT.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't go that far. What am I just?
I'm sorry. All right. We want to talk about statistical. All right. Since I know all y'all, y'all all older, so y'all going to say Jordan this, Jordan that.
And
how many times? Okay. How many times has a teammate of Jordan's made the all NBA and all defensive team in the same season? Because I'll tell you, six times. Six times. How many times has LeBron's teammates done that? Once.
Yeah.
Once. But the thing is Jordan has no help. He's the best. Why does the year he left, what did the Bulls do?
Are you talking about in between?
When
before
he left,
left.
the year after he left, when he was on that hiatus, so what the whole
Oh, yeah.
gambling thing, when he
They didn't
retired.
win. Yeah, they didn't win.
No,
They didn't
the
win till he
Bulls,
came
the
back.
Bulls only won 3 less games.
Yeah.
LeBron left Cleveland and they were the worst team in the East.
Yeah. No,
I see.
So I'm having trouble understanding how LeBron is not the absolute GOAT.
I think so.
6 times, 6 times a teammate made an all NBA team in general. With Jordan, by the way. 6 times. LeBron, 5. I'll give him that. How many times has a team, and you guys always want to talk about Jordan's defense. 9-time all defensive Scottie Pippen on his team to help him to take the number 1 option. Who did LeBron have?
Dwayne Wade. Chris Bosh.
Only went all NBA twice.
That is a true statement.
I'm trying so hard to understand how LeBron is not the GOAT if he's done it with the least amount of help. That 06 roster, Michael Jordan ain't sniffing the motherfucking playoffs. Can we agree?
And that could be. So the way that I look at the NBA is I think we're looking at 2 different leagues, and it's really hard to tell who would be better without those 2 actually playing against each other in their primes. And the way that I look at this, and I've said this a million times, I'll never I'll talk shit about LeBron. He is one of the greatest to ever do it. You know what I mean? But it's a different game now. I've always said on who we say is the GOAT, it's a generational thing. You know what I mean? I'm in my 40s. I grew up watching Michael Jordan. I'm always going to believe that Michael Jordan's the GOAT. You know what I mean? You get into a little bit younger generation that didn't get the opportunity to see Jordan play the way that I did. Their GOAT is LeBron. There's arguments for both these guys. And I've said this on the show a million times. There's arguments for both of them. You know what I mean? But it's based on generational overall. I mean, we can look at this with any sport. You know what I mean? Like, any sport will say this is the greatest person at this position at this sport, and then the older people are always going to say no, it's this person. You know what I mean? So it's a generational thing on who's who. I wish there was a way that we could see these 2 actually go head to head with their prime teams in their prime era and be able to actually see, a series to see who could win this thing. It could go either way. The hardest thing to tell about this whole thing is we all talk about this, whether or not LeBron is the GOAT or Jordan is the GOAT. They played 2 completely separate positions. So it's really hard to rank them up, anyways. You know what I mean? But LeBron
plays everything.
Yeah, he does. And it's so hard to tell because the NBA, honestly, is so much different now today than the NBA that I watched growing up in Jordan's era. You know what I mean? Jordan's era was much more physical than what the NBA is now. And I hate to say it because I watch the NBA now, Nathan, and it's hard for me to watch the NBA compared to the NBA I grew up on. You know, I mean, I'm talking back in, the early 90s with Bill Laimbeer throwing fucking elbows to people's faces and busting their nose and no fouls called. And all of a sudden I'm seeing somebody just touching somebody and people flopping. It's hard now to watch compared to what we watched growing up. The era of the flop is real. It is real. And I understand if you can draw a foul, take it, you know what I mean? But sometimes it gets a little ridiculous, but the game is a lot less physical than what it was growing up. And I can tell you the difference between the NBA now to the NBA then to college basketball now. Watch college basketball now. That is more like the NBA that I grew up on. It's way more physical than even what the NBA is now. They let so much more shit flow in college. College basketball to me is more exciting than what the NBA is at this point in time because they do get more physical. They let the game get a little bit rougher. And, I mean, it's a much more exciting game than what it was or than what the NBA is now. Now, do I enjoy watching the NBA? Sure. I'm a Pistons fan. You know what I mean? The Pistons have been good the last few years. Let's keep flowing. And when the playoffs started, they let those guys get a little bit more physical. It was a little bit more fun. I'm still on the boat that Jordan's the greatest. I'm not downing you for saying that LeBron's the greatest. I think we're just we're spread about, apart by about 20 years. I'm an old man, Nathan. So I grew up, that was my hero growing up, bro. And I'll never, fade away from the fact that the guy that I grew up watching, I was a huge Bulls fan growing up. So that'd be the same thing as me. One of my favorite quarterbacks ever is Stafford. Is he the greatest to ever play the game? No, but he's still one of my favorite quarterbacks ever. You know what I mean? I'll never sway on that. I'm not gonna say that like LeBron's not in the argument for the greatest ever. I'm just saying my greatest ever is Jordan, because that's who I grew up watching. Like that was my fucking hero growing up, is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So when I say he's the GOAT, he's my GOAT. He's not everybody's GOAT. You know, like it's a transitional line. Like Eric's kind of on that line. Like he's almost at that age where it's like he's either going to go LeBron or he's going to go Jordan. He's on the Jordan side. Cody's right there too. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to tell, man. It's what you grew up watching. You know, you kind of get where I'm coming from with that.
I get what you're coming from, and I watched Jordan highlights, and I was so disappointed because the defense that he had to face does not make you more skilled just because you try to punch somebody when they drive in.
Yeah.
Nowadays, the defensive rotations that have to happen to stop a three, an alley-oop, so like it's the game of basketball has evolved like to a mind-boggling amount. And I don't believe just because it was more physical back then, it doesn't discredit how skillful basketball got now. Now it's mandated as a 6'6", 6'7" guy. You got to be able to shoot the long ball. You got to be able to make a 20-foot jumper. You got to be able to guard 1 through 4 efficiently. You have to be able to shoot the long ball. Back then, you punch somebody and you're big enough, you're gonna play. All throughout when Jordan came to the league, 83, 84, 85, 80, the Pistons used to whoop his ass.
They
Whoop
did.
his ass. Whoop
Badly,
it. No,
bro.
physically, whoop his ass. Does that make them a good defensive team?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends. It's two different eras. I see where you're coming from, though, and that's the first time I've heard it put that way, and it makes sense because now you have to play defense on a level that you can't do the shit that you used to do. You can't get as physical, so you have to be a little bit more skillful to actually block these shots. I get that. I mean,
if you put
100%.
Wemby in the 90s, they will arrest that nigga, bro. They will take him and they will ban him from the NBA. There's no way. Like.
So now that you brought up Wemby, let's move off of that. Like, do you think Wemby has a chance to become the greatest ever? Like, because that guy's a fucking alien, bro. Like, let's be honest with each other. That guy's a fucking alien. You're talking about a 7 foot. What's he, 7? How tall is he? 7'6" I mean, he's tall as fuck. Like, and he can shoot threes. He can do everything. Like, is that the next guy that we're going to be talking about? Are we going to be putting Jordan and LeBron and Wemby on the same, like, Mount Rushmore, like looking down as the greatest fucking ever to play the game?
I mean, with no rings, it's hard to say. Like, you know, I've noticed that basketball is very oriented about, you know, taking your team to be able to win. So what he's done at a young age right now, in my opinion, is astronomical. And like seeing him produce the way he does in ways that we've actually never seen. And for once, the NBA, the faces of the NBA all aren't American players. It's crazy to see. But I feel like it's too soon to tell. I mean, with guys like him, Shea, Luca, like it's gonna be a toss-up for sure. And I feel like these next few years will definitely separate somebody from the others.
I could see that, and I think you're right. I think Jordan, like other than me, like I told you, Jordan was the guy I grew up with. That's why I think that he's the GOAT. Like he was my era. But I think the level of that is, you know, your championships won. I mean, we see this with football with people saying that Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback ever because he has 7 Super Bowls. You know, is there people who may have been just as good as his in the league in the past that didn't get that opportunity because they didn't have those teams surrounding them? Possibly, you know what I mean? But I mean, we can't argue that Tom Brady's probably the GOAT of football currently, you know what I mean? But that'll probably change one day too. And we'll have the argument of, is this person the GOAT? And it'll probably be Pat Mahomes, to be honest, as much as Eric hates to say that, because I think Pat Mahomes has the ability to get pretty close to matching his Super Bowl run with the amount of rings. So that's going to be an argument. And we see this throughout sports. Eric, keep shaking your head. But yeah.
Is Jason disagreeing?
No, Jason's just shaking.
He's just laughing at me
I'm
because I
laughing at
tweeted him
Eric.
so much shit.
Oh,
Because
I was
Pat
about to
Mahomes
say,
got, like,
because if
5 more years and he's gonna retire, he's gonna be smart about it.
you never know. But I hate when people are so quick to say it's Brady as far as the GOAT, because Football is way different, like way, 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 way different in comparison to who's the greatest and who's not as compared. Because like if we're taking the same approach to basketball, we will all be saying Bill Russell's the GOAT. As far as who can win the most, et cetera, et cetera. Nobody even mentions his name. I've never heard anybody say Bill Russell's the GOAT because he won 20 something. It doesn't really matter. As far as who is the best and who is right now, obviously it's still Brady, but when Patrick Mahomes' career is said and done, especially if he wins one or two more, I don't think he started a whole generation of certain guys you only compare to him. You don't sit here and compare guys like, wow, he plays just like Brady, and you're going to be impressed. You see somebody and you say, damn, he has that Mahomes to him. You see guys like Caleb Williams, how talented they are throwing the ball. That's astronomical. Like, that's one of none. So I feel like with the influence he's brought to the game, the way offenses have completely changed for guys like that, um, I really think Patrick Mahomes is going to be the greatest when it's all said and done.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, and I know Eric will disagree. And Scott in the chat, he's disagreeing. He said he's washed.
Well, it's just like the era thing. You know, you go back to Tom Brady. You had Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees. You had all those pocket passers. Now it's changed into the Lamars, the Patrick Mahomes, the Josh Allens, all that can run. So it's just like how you said the era changed from LeBron to Jordan. So football's evolved to that mobile quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point too, and we're starting to see that.
When I was growing up, it was all like I can really think off the top of my head, there was not very Michael Vick was the only mobile quarterback that you really thought of back in the early 2000s. Everyone else was pocket passers. You had certain players just like that, just like you did in the 90s, not compared to basketball now. Just like Nathan said, it's evolved.
Yeah.
So football has evolved more too. You got linemen like Penei Sewell that can run I don't know what his 40-yard dash was, but for a 300-pound man moving that quick, it's not like it was back in the day where the big men, you could outrun them easily if you were a skilled player. Nowadays, you're getting chased down by linemen if you're not quick enough.
Them DNs running 4-3. Like you got to be able to get out the pocket and throw it. You got to be able to extend plays. That's the bare minimum. As far as comparing it to basketball, like I said before, when you 6'6", you can't get away with just being able to catch alley-oops and have acrobatic finishes. Like, you have to be a 3-and-D type of guy at that size.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I feel like with the game involved, like, dudes are just better nowadays, more athletic, more access to ways to continue to get better on and off the field that, people in the 80s and 70s playing ball didn't have. I think it's not just a generational thing. I think dudes now are just better.
Yeah, that could be. We're seeing that throughout all sports. Look
at Aaron Donald. He's a freak of nature.
Yeah, Aaron Donald's absolute freak of nature.
And he's like 6 foot. He's like my height.
And if he comes back, the Rams. We'll get into that in here in a little bit because I think the Rams are fucking nasty this year. And if you're in the NFC, watch out for the Rams.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you make sense, especially when you're talking about when they say that Brady's the GOAT of the NFL. It's hard to fucking say, you know what I mean? Because there's so many players and you got different positional players and it's hard to say. You put a lot of shit on the quarterback and say that, that quarterback just led that team, but that quarterback honestly isn't doing it without his receivers, without his linemen. The linemen, being a big portion of that, because we've seen a lot of great quarterbacks who've come through this league that did not have that offensive line and they struggled and they went to other teams and they ended up fucking winning. I mean, I think of Matt Stafford alone, you know what I mean? Like, as soon as he left Detroit and he had a solid offensive line in front of him and he had weapons around him, he was able to go out and fucking win a Super Bowl finally. That was long overdue, and I think he's going to win a fucking another one this year. To be honest, I hate to say it, but I was just saying the Rams are stacked this year, so
crazy.
That's going to be a very dangerous team, and I still think that a lot of his time, and as much as I fucking love the Detroit Lions, and I'm a Detroit Lions fan, diehard, and he's one of my favorite quarterbacks ever. He just did not have a fair shot in Detroit. And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago about how
debatable.
It's debatable, but we talked about this, how many players would have been more than what they became if they were on a different team. You know what I mean? So it's hard to put that GOAT level on that, because like we always think in Detroit sports, like when we talk about the GOATs of Detroit sports, Barry Sanders always up on that list. And if Barry Sanders was on a different team, he'd probably have fucking quite a few Super Bowls by now. You know what I mean? Because that guy was something special. But then again, he played in a different time where Nathan is right. The game has changed. It's evolved. I mean, your fucking defensive ends are fast. Everybody's faster. Your linebackers are faster. The game has changed. So would he have been just as effective in today's game as he was in that day's game? It's hard to say.
Well, if you're gonna bring that up, you bring up Bo Jackson. Like that if that dude never got hurt, he probably would have every NFL running back record. He probably would.
100%. That I agree with.
Yeah, if he never got hurt from that freakish tackle, he probably would have every record in the book for NFL running backs. He did, yeah. That dude was a different animal. That dude was in the perfect era where steroids weren't a thing yet, and he was just God-given talent. And
I don't know. I think steroids are a thing, but they just weren't getting knocked down as much as they do now.
Yeah, but he wasn't on them.
Dudes were big as fuck back then. And
you can bring it up, if he never got hurt, he'd probably be one of the best MLB players, Jason would say, because he was getting real good towards the end of his career before he got hurt. So
he was doing that shit in college. He wasn't on nothing.
Yeah.
No, he was a different animal. And if he didn't get hurt, who knows what his MLB stats would be and his NFL stats would be. It would be crazy. But yeah, if you're going to bring that up, you can't leave him out. Because even Deion Sanders has said that was the most athletic player that ever has played the game. And coming from Deion, that's a lot, because he's not a humble guy. And for him to say that, that's huge.
He's very humble. He just knows he was one of the greatest to ever do it.
That's fair.
But yeah, this goes back to, like, we've had this GOAT discussion so many times on this show on like the GOAT of all different sports, but a lot of it, I agree, is generational, and it's opinionated. You know what I mean? Like, we all have our different opinions on who we think it is. Everybody has their own opinion, but at the same time, they're all different eras. Nathan, you brought up some fucking points that I never even thought of with the NBA. It's a lot more technical now than it was physical back then. So it's a different game altogether. Now, will it ever sway me from thinking the Jordans a GOAT? No, because that was my fucking childhood hero. You know what I mean? That guy will always be my GOAT. But I'm not going to say that, you know, LeBron is not one of the greatest to ever play the game. But that's my opinion. It could go either way. Like I said, it's an argument for the generations. And if we were to really break it down, like, truthfully, to be able to break down the GOAT, you can't break it down by sport. You break it down by positional players. Like, if we're breaking it down by sport alone, we'd be looking at the GOAT of boxing. But even that's hard to say, because there's so many different weight classes. You know what I mean? Is Floyd Mayweather Jr. the greatest boxer to ever fucking, fight? You know what I mean? It's there's different weight classes. So it's really hard to break down the GOAT of any sport. NFL, who's the greatest quarterback? Who's the greatest running back? Who's the greatest left guard, right guard? You know what I mean? Wide receiver, defensive end, defensive tackle, linebacker. You know what I mean? That's the way that you'd have to really break down the GOAT. It's hard to say. But yeah.
What do you think LeBron's season's going to be this year, Nathan, then, since he's at the 76ers and what they've added so far?
I think he'll average close to 10 assists, if not more. I think that's going to be a strong suit playing. I mean, they announced he's going to be the point guard, at least offensively. Mm-hmm. So you got Jaylen Brown on the wing, and I'm blanking on who else.
That's a huge assist. That's a huge gain right there for the 76ers. He was really good in Boston.
Yeah, so I feel like, Tyrese Maxey can play off ball very, very well. Both of them are able to catch and shoot, and then you got Embiid down low. So I don't look at him as being any less than a 10 assist type of guy, if not like floating around that. And I feel like he'll be an all NBA type of guy. I really don't see them not making the conference championship, at least.
Okay.
That's a fair statement. I think that's a role that he's going to be brought in to do anyways. I think he's gonna be a locker room leader and try to teach these young guys the shit that he knows. You know what I mean? Obviously, the contract reflects that, because it's only 2 years, $8 million, so he's taken pretty close to league minimum to be there. So Like, I think he's going to have a different role on this team, and hopefully he plays it out right. But I think they're going to be pretty successful. Cody, you've been pretty quiet there for a while. Do you have anything to input on all the shit that we've been talking about? Because we've been going for like 25 minutes, and you've been quiet, brother.
No, you're good. I think as far as like what you guys are saying, it is a generational thing. Both Michael Jordan and LeBron, I feel like in their respective eras were obviously the top player. As far as LeBron with Philly, I think they're going to be decent. The big question is how healthy Embiid's going to be. I mean, if he plays most of the season, I think they're going to be that top 3 team. It's just if Embiid is going to be out with injuries, that's going to be tough to kind of have that big man there. But I think Philly's going to be competing with all the top teams. And as a Detroit Pistons fan, that kind of worries me because we went from 60 wins, and who knows with all this offseason stuff that we're doing, can we compete with a team like Philly? So it's going to be tough. But yeah, like you guys said with the Jordan LeBron debate, I think it's a generational thing, like you said, Tim.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that Eastern Conference just got real tough. And that has me worried as a Pistons fan. And I see, Nathan, you kind of moved, and we get to see a little bit of that California skyline behind you. It's got to be nice out there because today's been fucking rainy and shitty here. Jason, while you're not here, do you have any opinions on this? Apparently not, so you don't matter.
Didn't rain at all.
No, it rained this morning.
Oh, well.
It rained here. It might not have rained where you were at, but it rained here. So now we covered the NBA. I want to get in a little bit of NFL talk, and that's what I'm really looking forward to because we got a lot of training camps about to kick off here pretty soon. I just seen that Jared Goff has reported to training camp, so he's back in town, ready to start some shit off. And if I have to say myself, pretty fucking excited about the Detroit Lions this year because the additions that they've made on offense, especially on that offensive line. Now the question stands like, what's that defense going to do with the whole Terrion Arnold shit? And I know they just had another linebacker today that can play, a little bit, corner, and he can, do some work when it comes to coverage. So I'm pretty excited about that. But like, I'm excited about this NFL season, and I've been fucking waiting for some fucking football because life is just not the same without fucking football around. Holy shit, where the fuck did he come from?
Carter just got 154.
He just popped up like the Undertaker. What were you doing under your desk? That was fucking weird, Jason.
Trying to figure out what the freak was going on with my camera.
You looked fine before you shut it off.
No, I was sitting here, and all of a sudden, like, my light went off. I'm like, why is my light off? Like, what's happening right now?
I just thought you were trying to do a fucking Undertaker thing. You just popped up from under the fucking desk like dead man, bro. Nathan.
Well, it's SummerSlam week.
Nathan, NFL is right around the corner, brother. And I've been wanting to get you back on here to actually talk some NFL because the last time we had you on, it was more of just an interview show. And we started getting in a little bit about talking NFL and, we're talking our fandoms and everything else and stuff like that. Let me know how you're feeling about this NFL season coming up.
Oh, man, I'm so excited. Obviously, it sucks. This is my first season not preparing to be in a fall camp in 12 years, so the free agency life has been different, but very excited to see all the new faces in the league. There's so much offensive superpower this year. Going into the Lions, new offensive coordinator. I know they just brought in Drew Petzing. I'm sure he's going to do a good job with Amon-Ra and J-Mo. Those are two guys that I love watching. Jahmyr Gibbs, obviously, in my opinion, best offensive player in football right now. So I think this is going to be a real exciting team to watch. Jared Goff has been consistent for years now. So I really think they're going to give it a good run. The Rams have definitely been exciting me. They got my favorite receiver. So to watch DA even take a wide receiver 2 role but still be so productive is great. Puka is obviously very consistent and just a dog whenever the ball's in the air. I feel like this year of all the new offensive weapons that came out of the draft, like Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, Zach Brandt. These are all guys that are going to produce right away. So definitely excited.
I'm right there with you. It's exciting, and I want to bring back real quick to you brought up St. Brown. I know we talked about it the last time when you were on. You were talking about how you had I think it was one of your coaches or some shit was the same coach as St. Brown, so you've had a chance to work out with him a few times. Do you think he's a little underrated, to be honest? Because they put him up there pretty high, but I honestly think he's one of the best receivers in the fucking league currently, and I think
Yeah.
he's a little underrated.
I think he's top 5 by all
Yeah.
means. In anybody's board, he should be top 5.
Yeah.
I hate the argument of like he's just a slot guy because, in my opinion, in football, playing slot is a little harder because you have to read defenses closely. You have to go against guys who are way bigger than you, as far as a linebacker, a nickel. I know nickels obviously aren't the biggest, but you got to go against linebackers. You have to read coverages. You have a lot of option routes as far as how fast you have to react to the defense you're seeing. Just because you're closer to the quarterback doesn't make it an easier job. So I hate the term of, you're just a slot guy because that shit's hard. So to be able to be that efficient in the slot and outside, I mean, he's strong as fuck. So I don't think people really give him credit for him being able to be physical with guys. I think he's definitely top 5, and it shouldn't be close.
Yeah, but I think he's 5 because you got, if I'm gonna go down the list, you got Jay Jettas, you got Jamar Chase. Then, in my opinion, I think Puka's next because he's just been balling out, and I think he's gonna have a great year this year. And then, I don't know. It's close. He's either 4 or 5, honestly, because
I'll
those
put
3
him
right there.
JSN for sure.
Yep, JSN's gonna be 4, and then I'd see Brown at 5. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah,
I'd be fine with that list.
I say 5A and 5B with Amon-Ra and CD because I hate to count
Yep.
CD out because that dude's fucking
No, see, he
different.
is good. He definitely is good. He's definitely the number 1 at Dallas, but I don't know. Yeah, that's a tough argument with him as CD, but yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah,
I think Jahmyr Gibbs is probably it's either him or Bijan, the number 1, number 2 running back right now in the league. Like, for sure. Like, I think both of those guys are going to have outstanding years, and I'm just very curious what they're going to do, honestly.
Yep. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think both guys have a new offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think anyone has an advantage, but at least people to take the load off. Maybe Detroit has a slighter advantage with Amon-Ra and J-Mo, but then again, you can't count out Drake London and Zach Branch and Kyle Pitts. So I feel like it is a toss-up as far as who is the best offensive. Now that I think about it, I didn't think about Bijan. It could be 1A, 1B, who's just the best overall offensive weapon in football right now.
The only thing I'd say is they got Pacheco, so to give Gibbs a little bit of break and get him in there, I think that's the only thing that would really help Detroit right now. Because other than that, you bring up with London and Pitts and all that, I'm like, you're not wrong.
With Pacheco, and from what I've seen, it's like if you need 3 yards, Isaiah Pacheco, he gonna get you 3 yards.
Mm-hmm.
If you need 8 yards, he gonna get you 3 yards. Like it's just I feel like he is a very short yardage back. Runs hard as shit, but I don't think.
Also, he's never had a team that's been around the run either, like Detroit. But he's been with Kansas City that's been around Patrick Mahomes. So now that he's around an offense coordinator that runs the ball a lot, has a good offensive line like Detroit does, might be a little different. But you could be right though. He's definitely gonna get you 3 yards no matter what. Could that upgrade like how Montgomery was here? Maybe, but we'll see.
D-Mont was a dog. He was a fucking dog, man.
We should never got rid of him, in my opinion, but
that boy was different. I can't wait. I mean, the Texans got a good offense too, so I mean, I'm excited to see him. And is it Woody Marks? Is the other running back over there?
I think so, yeah.
I think that's gonna be a good little tandem. So I'm excited to see. It's just so much talent all over the league right now. It's just gonna be so exciting every Sunday to see this all out on display. Especially you got the Rams right in my backyard. Yeah. McVay, if you're seeing this, bro, sign me, please. Shit. So yeah, man, it's gonna be exciting for sure.
I'm very curious. I'm really curious how Genti's going to have his second year too. I'm really
Yeah.
curious what his second year is going to be, because he wasn't bad as a rookie and all that, and then also Scadaboo in New York with a new coach with John Harbaugh.
The thing is with Dayball, he's a very, very, very pass heavy guy.
Mm-hmm.
So him leaving, I think now bringing in a new offense, et cetera, et cetera. I think it's going to shift a little more towards the run in New York with Malik coming off that knee and Scadaboo being a little more healthy than him right now. So I think that's going to give him an advantage. And as far as Vegas with Genty, if I'm not mistaken, they just got Kubiak.
Okay.
I think Clint Kubiak. I think he's their new offensive coordinator. He just came from Seattle. So seeing them, they was very run heavy, but they still got their guys the ball, and I feel like it's gonna be a very interesting situation now that he has actual talent in the backfield, but you got guys all around. I mean, you got
That's
Bowers, you got Genty. They just signed Jalen Naylor.
Yep.
It's gonna be a show over there in Vegas. Obviously, they just got the number one pick. They just got Mendoza. And they signed, I think, Malik Benson as well. He could fly from Oregon.
Yep.
And am I missing somebody else? Do they still have Jacoby Myers?
I'm not sure, honestly, on that one. That's something I'd have to look up.
Who do you guys think is going to be the starting QB over there?
For the Raiders?
Yeah.
Mendoza, for sure.
The head coach just said it's going to be Cousins.
I can't see that. I wouldn't. Why draft somebody number 1 overall to not start him?
That's a good point. But also, Cousins does have a lot of experience in this league, and it wouldn't be bad for Mendoza to sit back and really learn the league from, Cousins, because he is not a bad quarterback. He's definitely made his, statement known for, what he's come from, being one of the best Michigan State quarterbacks to play there, and then, getting behind RG3 when he got drafted, and then RG3 gets hurt, and he definitely stepped into that role, and he went to Minnesota and played very well. So it wouldn't be, I see your point with drafting number 1 guy and making him sit is probably not the smartest idea, but not a bad idea for him to learn from an experienced quarterback, in my opinion.
Not at all. I don't think it's a bad idea, but that my opinion on what I would do I'm no NFL coach, but if I pick a dude up number 1 overall, my plan is to start him. Like,
no, I feel that.
Especially because he's not a young guy. Like, he was an older senior. I feel like he does have the maturity to handle that. So, and he has weapons around him to be able to build off of. A lot of young talent that he could build a chemistry with early on. Like, all the guys that's, around him as far as being able to build with are all 26 and younger. So I feel like that would be good to get him on the field with those guys early. But I'm sure they're going to give him a shot in preseason. We're going to see what he's looking like.
That's true, because you got training camp coming up. So that could change. That could 100% change, that Mendoza could be the starting quarterback for Las Vegas.
Definitely.
At the end of the day, it's Las Vegas, and they're playing the Chiefs division, so it doesn't fucking matter because the Chiefs are winning the division this year 100%. Mahomes is healthy. They still got Kelsey, Mr. Swift, and they're going to rock out this year.
Who's in that division? I don't even know who's in all that division. You got
the Broncos, which if
Chiefs,
I remember
Broncos, Chargers, Raiders.
Okay,
Yeah.
so honestly, you can't count out the Chargers or the Broncos.
No, Broncos are fucking tough right now, so they're going to be a tough one to get.
Like the number 1 quarterback in the league right now.
The Chargers look good, but I think this is the Chiefs' year. AFC is going to be the Chiefs this year.
Says that every year.
I do, and I've done really well over the last 7 years calling the Chiefs. Because they kind of built a little bit of a dynasty there. I mean, if you don't blame me, I'll get fucking almost Andy Reid back on this show to tell you all about it. But by the way, Nathan, real quick, I was just upstairs. The wife says you're one of her favorite fucking people we've ever had on this show. And she said, just keep balling out and just keep working, man. Keep your head down. God's going to put you exactly where you need to be. So just keep up the fucking good work. She fucking is a huge fan of yours. So I just want to throw that out there. But I don't
appreciate that, Mrs. Sheridan.
Yeah. Where were you guys at? Because I kind of had to step away for a minute. So
we were just talking about Mendoza, who's going to start there, and just kind of going on the league. And we went over our top 5 wide receivers and all that. And yeah.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
I know what else you have notes of, what you want to bring up for NFL. So
I don't have shit. We're just kind of winging it tonight. But NFL. So if I remember correctly, Nathan, you said you were were you a Broncos fan? If I remember correctly.
Yep.
So being that case, and we're talking about that division right now, obviously you guys were covering the Raiders and with the possibility of Mendoza. And I don't know how that's going to work out. Rookie QBs usually, it's either going to be really hot like a Jaden Daniels thing a couple of years ago and, with a sophomore slump after that, or it's not going to work out so hot. I've never been a big believer in the Raiders. They always seem to have a little bit of controversy, in the organization that causes them to not get where they need to be. But the Broncos, that's a team that you got to look out for. Even me as a Chiefs fan, that's a team that went pretty far last year. And I think they've only gotten better, throughout the years. Is that a team we have to watch out for this year coming up, in the AFC?
110%. Best defense in the AFC. They just picked up Jalen Waddle offensively. Bo Nix, very, very smart operational leader. I don't see them not being up there with the Chiefs as far as competing for the championship. They just always find a way to win.
Yeah. And you brought up the best, arguably not just the best defense in the AFC, but I think they might have one of the best defenses in the NFL. Like that defense is fucking legit, it's really good. And since Bo Nix has been there, that team has, really progressed very fast because I think the one thing they were missing was that quarterback. And to be able to have the quarterback that has that offensive mind that can see the plays and be able to make shit happen, that was an important part that they were missing. And they're a dangerous team. Now, do I think they're on the Chiefs level? Not quite yet. I think as long as Patrick Mahomes is there, you always got, that little bit better, a little bit smarter of a quarterback. And the Chiefs have a way to make something out of nothing. You know what I mean? Even when they lose most of their defensive pieces, Spags finds a way to train up these rookies to get them back playing, top level, where they're always, one of the best defenses in the AFC, even with rookies, that's always, a good team regardless, defensively and offensively. So I think, health wise, I'm going to put the Chiefs a little bit above the Broncos just because they do have Patrick Mahomes. And go ahead, Eric, say what you got to say.
You're just saying that because you're a Chiefs fan. The Broncos are definitely better than the Chiefs this year. They have a better defense. They have a better head coach. Like, what are you like? Come down to reality for once and say that they're not that great.
Did you just say they have a better head coach than Andy? Andy Reid's the fucking head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
Did you just say they had a better coach?
I think Sean Payton's a better head coach.
No, Sean Payton. How many rings does Sean Payton have, motherfucker?
He has one ring, but he's also got
how many rings does Andy Reid have?
Oh, 2, 3.
He has 3.
Okay.
How much more success in his career has Andy Reid had than Sean Payton?
That's debatable because Sean Payton
not debatable because Andy Reid was very successful with the Eagles before he went.
And Sean Payton was very successful with the Saints the whole time he was there.
Damn it, Scott! It's not Justin Fields' team now. Even though I do like Justin Fields, and I thought Chicago should have never got rid of him. But at the same time, I'm happy he's the backup there. But this is an argument that's null and void. You're dumb. That's all I'm saying.
No, you're living up in La La Land. You're living up in Swifty Land.
Andy Reid is one of the greatest coaches to ever coach the fucking game. That's all I'm saying. Jason, can you put this guy in check? I know you got something to say. And you're not even a Chiefs fan, but for God's sakes, he's not even speaking English right now.
You cannot compare Andy Reid to Sean Payton. You just cannot.
Okay. You don't even know football. You shut up. MLB guy.
I know enough to know that you can't compare that. Look, you're comparing lunch meat to prime rib.
You're going to put Sean Payton as lunch meat? You're so stupid that your hair fell out because you're that stupid.
Am I, though?
Yeah, you are.
Explain it to me. Educate me.
How many losing seasons has Sean Payton had? Look it up there, tech man.
Explain to me
all of them except for one
is a better coach than Andy Reid.
They've had the same success. Maybe Andy Reid's been in the league longer, but he's not as bad. He's not worse than Andy Reid.
Dude,
He's
I
one
think
of
they're
these-
about the same age, been in the league about the same amount of time.
I don't know.
to be
I don't know
honest.
when Sean Payton came in the league, honestly. I know Andy Reid's been in there since the early 2000s.
Andy Reid's been, Sean Payton's been in there since the early 2000s too. Who's had more success?
Look it up. Jason, look it up.
While you're looking it up, Cody, give us your thoughts. Andy Reid or Sean Payton? Let's put this fucker into check here.
It
And
is.
don't
If he was
you
that
disagree
good, if he
with
was
me?
that good, he could have won a Super Bowl in Philly. But did he? No, because he's not that great.
No, I unfortunately, Eric, I'm not gonna agree
Case
with you on this one. It's got to
Cody,
be Andy Reid.
don't stop. You're not invited.
I know.
anymore.
I hate to
You're
do
not
it. I
invited here
hate to
anymore.
do it, but yeah, unfortunately, out of those two, it is Andy Reid.
All right.
I'm a
and
Bronco fan, and I say Andy Reid.
Hey,
Yeah.
now
Yeah. So
I'll live on my island. Call me Revis Island. Fuck all of you.
Nathan plays fucking football, and he's agreeing with us here. So like he
Did
gets
you play
it.
football?
No, I didn't.
So
play
shut your
football.
mouth.
I just love football.
Go
No.
in your wrestling ring and do your fake moves and stuff like that.
Shut your fucking mouth, son. Shut your fucking mouth.
Fall down. Just flop. Take a
I wanna
note.
get
Take a
this-
note after LeBron James and do some flopping.
For
Right.
God's sakes, I want to get this guy in a ring one time and just have him take one bump and tell me that shit is fake. That's all I want.
I just love
That's
saying
one
it.
time.
I
I'm
just
gonna
love
have this
saying it.
motherfucker
I
take
just love
one
saying it
bump.
because it gets under your skin.
One bump and tell me that shit's fake. Because the first time I ever
Just
took
like
a
your
bump,
stupid new
I
truck you got.
puked.
That thing is
That
ugly.
that
That
is
is
a
ugly.
You're a fucking
That
liar.
is a basic bitch girl truck.
No,
It's-
that's a
I'm like,
sexy-ass truck.
who's the gay man
He's
here?
smiling right now because of my new
No,
truck.
it's
He's
not
like,
good looking.
Oh, fuck you. That truck is sexy as
It's
hell.
not. It's okay though.
Oh, no.
You were
Yeah.
dropped on your head a lot.
He's just making fun of big and stupid out there in the driveway.
Big and stupid. What?
Well, that's what I named my truck, was big and stupid.
And okay.
Yeah. But yeah, like Andy Reid, 100%, bro. I forget, like we just got totally off guard. I don't even know where the fuck we are in this conversation anymore.
That you thought
Jason's
that
looking it
okay,
up
but
right
that
now
you
to
but
find
that
out
you
who's the more-
thought the
Okay.
Chiefs were better than the Broncos this year, and I'm like, dude, they're not.
Oh,
gonna
hold
be.
on. Who said okay? Jason, was that
Jason did. Yeah, you don't know his
All right.
voice.
you? Okay.
So, Sean Payton has one Super Bowl championship. He won the 2006 Coach of the Year. That's really all they have as far as his coaching accolades. Whereas Andy Reid, 3-time Super Bowl champion, the NFL Coach of the Year for 2002 from the AP, Sporting News Coach of the Year 2000, 2002, 2018, 4-time Greasy Neal Award winner, and part of the Philadelphia Eagles 75th anniversary team. As an assistant coach, 1 Super Bowl championship. So he's been on the coaching staff of 4 Super Bowl.
When did he come in? Did they say when he came in and what's his overall record as a head coach?
Okay. In the NFL, he came in 1992 as
Okay,
the
so before I was even born.
Damn.
Before
As
I was
the-
even born. And when did Sean Payton come in?
Okay, stand by.
Man,
I didn't
we're
look that
digging,
part up.
We're digging deep here.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I
matter.
didn't know when he came in, honestly. I had
Andy
no
Reid.
idea.
And that's 92, I think, is when he came in as an assistant coach, wasn't it?
As an
Probably.
assistant
Yeah,
for Green
probably.
Bay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because he was
probably.
part of Green Bay before he went to the Eagles as head coach, and then he went to Kansas City.
All righty. Sean Payton came into the NFL in 1997 as a
Okay,
quarterback's coach.
All right.
So they're
not
about
too
5
far.
years apart. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Not
So
too far apart. Okay.
I mean, when you go accolades, Andy Reid's the better coach, motherfucker. That's all I'm saying.
Go off fake awards. It's okay.
I mean, and we've come close to having Andy Reid on the show with having almost Andy Reid on the show, which
Yes,
was an
we
amazing.
get it. It was great.
It was an
you
amazing
pulled
show, by
you
the way.
pulled the rug out from our feet.
Yes.
We know, Tim. We've heard it. Just like Pacheco's came from the Chiefs 1,000 times. We've
He
heard
did
it.
come from the Chiefs, and I'm super excited that he's part of the Lions.
You
this
should have
year.
heard what Nathan said about it. He's like, I kind of like agree with him. He's going to get you 3 yards no matter what. You need
Hey.
8. He's going to get you 3.
Nathan, I agree with you a lot, but I don't agree with that.
I didn't make the defense.
I mean, I'm just going off what I see.
I did make the
Only-
defense.
so
Shut up and I'll tell you what I said. I said
Okay.
he was with the Chiefs. That was a pass heavy team. He came to a running team with a better offensive line. So it's going to be very curious what he will do with a team or a scheme around him.
Yes, this will be I think, like, to be honest, in my opinion, I think this will be Pacheco's, like, if he gets enough reps, this will be a breakout year for him to actually be able to see what he can do behind a team that has a line that's built for running. He's never had that before. So when you got Patrick Mahomes, you don't worry about the run. You know what I mean? If anybody's going to run the ball, usually, Patrick Mahomes ends up fucking sometimes more rushing yards than his fucking running backs do.
Okay, stop stroking his wee and all that. Let's get back to what we were talking about.
It's Patrick. That's greatest to ever play the game.
But
that's all I'm saying.
Okay, so I can admit that. Yeah, okay, Andy Reid's better coach than Sean Payton, but I think you're riding the Chiefs' horse a little too high because Denver, I think, is the better team.
Denver very well could be.
They are.
I'm not taking anything away from Denver. I think
they have better receivers.
Stroking Denver too. I'm saying Bo Nix is a fucking great quarterback. Denver is fucking.
They have the better defense.
It's got arguably the best defense in the NFL.
And they play out in the cold.
They do play out in the cold.
That's tough in December to play out there.
And they play at altitudes that make it hard to play at. You know what I mean? So a lot of teams go up there and they have struggle playing because it's such high altitude. They have that advantage. But at the end of the day, what they don't have
is Patrick Mahomes.
Taylor Swift or Travis Swift. That's all I'm saying. They don't have.
Did he
Travis
really change his fucking?
No, he didn't change his last name.
I was about to say, wow,
motherfucker. But I'm always loving it because I'm a Swiftie at heart. Okay, I can't name one fucking song.
Then
but I can
shut
tell
up
you,
about it.
I will rock my Swiftie shirt here occasionally. But outside of
Cody, who would you agree would be better? The Denver this year coming up, or Tim's stupid Chiefs?
Probably Denver, but is Bo Nix starting this season like week 1?
I don't know.
I think that'll obviously determine how Denver will be, depending on if Bo Nix is starting the season or not. But
that is very true.
Patrick Mahomes on one leg.
He's fully healthy, man. They've already come out and said he's ready for training camp, so he's been cleared for training camps. That boy rehabbed that shit. Now, whether or not he's actually good or not, you've had.
Told you week 3 he's gonna blow out his other ACL. Called it.
The injury wise, do you think he's ready to go, Nathan?
I came back from a knee injury before, and honestly, look, I ain't had no access to he probably got access to some shit we ain't even fucking heard of.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. He has the money to.
Yeah, so when I'm 6 months out of surgery, it's still a process,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what mindset NFL quarterback, the best NFL quarterback in the league, needs to feel confident enough on that leg. But if it's still all braced up and he's still a little, But
you're gonna get the best PT, trainers out there. You're gonna get the best therapy. You're gonna get the best everything to heal up that leg because they got the money and they got the facilities and they got the resources to do that. So yeah, it's gonna be a little different. It's just getting that confidence back, like you said, 100%.
But comes to say, without him, I don't see the Chiefs being nearly as productive. But if you say without Bo Nix, I think the Broncos still have a chance just off how good their defense is.
That's a true statement because, like I said, I do think they have arguably the best defense in the NFL currently, and defense, like Eric has said a million times on this show, defense wins championships. So without a defense, you're not doing shit. You know what I mean? It don't matter what your offensive numbers are if you can't stop the other team from scoring. So I'm not taking anything like that. It's probably part of me being a Chiefs fan, and Scott's tearing me up in the chats right now, just constantly. It's comment after comment after comment, just talking shit. And now he wants to, if the Broncos beat the Chiefs, I'm required to replace my Mahomes jersey with a Bo Nix jersey.
Broncos, not if.
No, it's not when, it's if, because I don't see it happening, motherfucker. Slow down, Scott. Slow down. Shit's not going to happen. But let's get outside of the AFC West real quick. Let's move into some other divisions. Obviously, we're big in the NFC North here because we are Lions fans. There's arguably one of the toughest divisions in the NFL, and we're looking at a lot of really good teams right now. And Eric has been the guy who said all along that he thought the Vikings were going to be the sleeper in this division, which kind of makes it a little scary because you already got Chicago, you got Green Bay, And Micah Parsons is going to be back. He's going to be healthy at some point. And
We hope he's going to be 100% back. You don't know.
I mean, he'll be back at some point. That guy's an animal too, and he's a workhorse. I mean, these guys have, the ability to get the best treatment.
And we'll find out September. We'll find out September 14th when Week 1 comes around and the Broncos play the Chiefs. Week 1.
Well, we're gonna put money on that game.
You don't bet, so you're not gonna.
I'll put $1. I'll put $1.
Okay,
That's about all I got. But NFC North, we're looking at a pretty fucking tough division this year. We got the Lions with a rebuilt offensive line. We got Chicago, who came off the division win last year. They lost some defensive pieces, but I still think they're going to be pretty tough. Caleb Williams is, he's a good fucking quarterback. As much as I like to hate on him, he is a good quarterback. And I think last year being his rookie year, he showed a little bit of that rookiness, with some mistakes, but he started cleaning it up towards the end of the year, and he's only going to get better. We got the Vikings, who you think are going to be, the
one to worry about
in that division, with Kyler Murray probably going to be leading them out this year because JJ turned into a bust, just like I thought he was going to. And then you got Green Bay, who you always have to fucking worry about in that division. This division is going to be tough. I got the Lions on top of it with that offensive line, but the defense scares me. But I think that offense is going to be enough to power them through to a division win this year. Nathan, outside looking in, I know you're a Broncos fan. We talked about the Lions a little bit earlier. Who do you got walking out in this division?
Detroit. I think anyone should guess that. Although, I wouldn't put the Bears in the back seat. Ben Johnson is so fucking creative, bro. Like, my goodness. It's when you think they're a pass heavy team, they can come out and be run heavy and be just as efficient as they were at the last game. And just how they use their weapons and how he knows how to utilize everybody so efficiently. It's just so exciting to watch. I think them and whoever Ben Johnson is coaching is up there with star-studded teams like the Rams as far as exciting to watch. I can't say anything about the Vikings yet because I've yet to see JJ play with a mobile dual threat quarterback. So I don't know if that's going to be less effective for him or more. But him and Jordan Addison, obviously, a great tandem together. So I love to see, them work. Green Bay, I don't know. I don't see them being on top right now, which is not a knock. It's just how far above Detroit and the Bears are. Just coming off what the Bears did last year, you can't count that out.
So, same question to you, Cody.
Yeah, I said it last night, and I'm sure I'm going to get hate for it, but I think Chicago is going to come out on top in the division this year. I think, with the Lions having a down year last year and with all the defensive questions and everything like that, I don't think that I can say confidently that they will take the division. Obviously, with Minnesota, they're that question mark team with deciding who's going to be quarterback and what really Minnesota can be because they've been up and down the last couple of years. And then Green Bay is always going to be competitive, so I think them and Minnesota will be flip-flopped at the bottom. But, yeah, I unfortunately have Chicago winning this division.
I'm upset that I asked you. No, I'm just joking. Eric, what's your thoughts on this division?
It's going to be a toss-up between Chicago and Detroit, but I think Detroit will squeak it out towards the end of the season like they did a couple years ago. And, yeah, it's going to be a tough one, but if that offensive line can stay healthy and mesh very well beginning of the season, I think it's Detroit. Because Chicago has lost a lot of pieces on defense, and, hopefully Detroit can figure out their defensive question marks, because there's quite a few of them I'm worried about.
Jason, I know you're sitting there quietly just pondering this whole thing, and maybe you're messing with your camera. I'm waiting for another resurgence from under the desk.
I am of the similar mindset of what Nathan was saying. Ben Johnson is one of the most creative coaches in all of the NFL, and that has to be taken very much into consideration. However, the Detroit Lions are coming into this season, I feel like, you want to talk about a team that's got a fire under their ass? and whether it's the hot seat that Dan Campbell is going to find himself sitting in, or this redemption storyline that is slowly but surely starting to work its way to the surface. The Detroit Lions have an agenda this year that is, the Chicago Bears have become a renewed priority for the Lions. And if it wasn't for that, I would be with Cody, and this is the Bears' division to win. I don't feel that. I feel like we're going to see that kind of, and I hate using this word as a cliche at this point, but the Detroit Lions are going to demonstrate a grit that is going to carry them to the NFC North Championship, and they are going to become one of the sleeper teams in the latter part of the season going into the postseason. It is the Detroit Lions' year this year, in my view.
All right, so question: why would Dan Campbell be on the hot seat? I feel like Brad Holmes is more on the hot seat because he has had a couple good drafts and then he's had some very bad ones.
You know, can I interject there?
Yeah, yes, I'd love to hear it. Yeah.
I'd say, especially in nowadays time, when you have a Super Bowl window and that shit is closing and it's very evident that it's closing, that makes an NFL head coach's seat get hot. It's not a part of the losing itself. It's not a part of like a negative record. It's just when your team is a pronounced Super Bowl projecting team with the rosters that they've had, with the coordinators they've had, with the superpower they've had, with the points per game they've had. A quarterback's tenure can only be so long to produce over and over and over and over with the guys he have. You got rosters that are going to change around with maybe someone else wants more money. Maybe someone wants an extension that they can't get there. Maybe another coach has to leave for another position, as far as Ben Johnson did. So right now, that Super Bowl window is closing. So that could make him end up in a hot seat, in my opinion.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be on Brad Holmes to get, okay, like the Rams went and got Myles Garrett because they see that window closing again. They're like, we're going to open it. That's on the GM, not the head coach.
Right, but
so that's on the Lions to go get players. So Dan Campbell has the right pieces to get them to the Super Bowl if that window's closing. And I don't want to say it, but it's closing pretty quick.
They didn't pick very high in the draft though, so that's another thing. As far as like
not.
Getting the guys who were like super valued coming out of college, you know.
No, 100%. And, you know, if you draft right, like he has in the past, sometimes, you know, Terry Arnold was definitely not the best pick and, you know, what we see now, but also it's making moves in free agents. You know what I mean? That too, that's always a big part of it too. So that's why I was just like, it made me just question, like, okay, I feel like it's more on Brad Holmes than Dan Campbell, but I see your point too.
It would be, you know, from a logistical standpoint, yes, it is on Brad Holmes. However, Dan Campbell is the one in front of the camera. Dan Campbell is the one that when anything goes right, he's the one that gets the praise. But when anything goes wrong, when he makes a wrong play or whatever, he's the one that gets the shit. And and in this city right now, with as close as the Lions had come to go into the Super Bowl, we've talked about this a lot here on the show. Like that went. Nathan said it perfectly. He worded it differently than I was going to, but that window is closing, and it is closing fast. And if we get to a point to where we, the media, the fans, everybody's like, all right, we have missed our opportunity, it ain't going to be Brad Holmes that loses his job. It's going to be Dan Campbell, unfortunately, because he is front and center.
Well, that I could bring up, why did Steve Eisman step down and not the head coach get fired then?
Because you're talking about two different ownerships.
That's a GM, but that's a GM compared to a coach.
Correct. But you also have two mindsets with how these two entities are being run.
Yeah, it's different.
A fucking idiot. We have documented that. Whereas the Fords are finally starting to take this team seriously. They got a little sniff of success, and they want to capitalize that, especially when they saw what a fevered pitch this city became when the Lions were marching their ass to the NFC Championship game against the 49ers. I mean, this city was on fire. The entire country was on fire except for San Francisco. Now, and that's when I'm like, it's a different mindset. Yeah. Iserman was I don't want to go into that.
I know. That's what just made me think. Was I'm like, well, Iserman left, but the head coach is still there, so that's what made me bring that up. But yeah, you're not wrong. Dan Campbell's definitely the show of it, so I see why he would be in the hot seat.
And you look at historically how the NFL handles stuff. Generally, if a head coach gets fired, sometimes the GM stays on, but sometimes they end up firing both of them. You know what I mean? Like the GM hardly ever gets fired in those situations, but sometimes if you're in that position, it's going to be both. If they blame it on, Brad Holmes, they're going to fire Dan Campbell too. Now, if they just blame it on Dan Campbell, they'll keep Brad Holmes. But at the same time, like, I don't know if Dan Campbell's really on the hot seat. The players love him. The people love him. It would be a hard move to fire Dan Campbell at this point in time because he's so popular throughout the city.
Well, it's like, who would you get? Like who like your offense coordinator left that you could have promoted to head coach that.
Well, they didn't leave. That guy got fired because he's a fucking.
I meant when Ben Johnson was.
Oh, when Ben Johnson.
Like you had Ben Johnson, one of the best minds ever. Maybe if your only chance was to keep him is to fire Dan Campbell and keep him. I think the city would have went in an uproar.
I'd rather still have Dan Campbell though.
No, I get that's what I'm saying. I think the city would. No, I get that, and I think the city would have went into an uproar if that happened.
Yeah. I mean, on a level when you're talking about players getting behind a coach, like Nathan, you're a football player. Like, is Dan Campbell the type of coach you'd want to play for? You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Or Ben Johnson. If you had to choose one, who would it be?
I mean, obviously Ben Johnson, shit. Yeah, offensive coordinator. And I could just see how he schemes up guys and, you know what I'm saying? But as far as like as an overall football player, I'll have to say Dan Campbell. I feel like he damn near suiting up with us. Shit.
That's fair.
Like,
that's fair.
That's a guy you want to go to war for. You know, I ain't never felt like that with a coach. So seeing it, it's just like, damn. Like, them dudes really care about, bro. Like, you can see how passionate, like, the passion he coaches with, and when he's up there with the during the pressers, man, like, he really love his guys. Like, really, really do. He loves his guys more than he loves his job. So that's big.
So let me ask you this. So on a level of people who become coaches and whatnot, stuff like that, is it one of those things where these guys who come in the league who become coaches that were former players who played at a higher level, are those the type of guys that should be, you know, head coaches? Because we see some of these guys who came up and maybe played in high school or whatnot, and then got into coaching and stuff like that. Do you think players play harder for the guys who actually played at that high level, as Dan Campbell did, than they do for the guys who didn't play at that high level?
I mean, you never know. It ain't no like dime a dozen as far as like a coaching factory. Because, for example, like a guy like me, I don't have any doubt in my mind that I can compete with guys like that. And I come from a Division I FCS school at highest. So obviously you would say, like, you know, as far as getting guys to play in the NFL, you typically want to go for guys who played at a bigger school because it's an easier transition. I'm gonna say fuck that. Like, I feel like I could go compete regardless. Yeah. So as far as a guy who comes from playing at a higher background to make that transition to coaching, I mean, you got a guy who's arguably the best ever, who damn near played no football with Bill Belichick. Sean McVay beat out Calvin Johnson for Player of the Year. Like, there's no telling who just has it or doesn't. I feel like that's all on the department of who's hiring them to really take their time and the due diligence to understand who they are as a coach, person, and former player.
That makes perfect sense. I've always wanted to ask that because I didn't know. Because obviously we know that Dan Campbell played at a high level. I mean, he's a former Lion. He's played in other places and stuff like that. So I didn't know if the guys would get behind a guy who's actually put in those reps and played on that level more than they got behind a guy who didn't play at that level, who doesn't quite understand playing at that level other than just coaching it. But sometimes, you know, sometimes the brightest minds in the league never played at that level. They can just see the game differently than others can. You know what I mean? So obviously Dan can see the game pretty well, and he's pretty good at coaching it. And he did pretty decent at play calling last year once he took it over. But back to the Drew Petzing thing, you brought that up. We got that new offensive coordinator, and you bring up, Ben Johnson, and there's a correlation between the two, because I know Ben Johnson and Drew Petzing are like best friends. So I'm sure they've kind of, run shit by each other over the years, and hopefully have a similar mindset. So I'm pretty excited to see what he can do, especially with this team, with this rejuvenated offensive line headed forward. And I think we might see the best Drew Petzing that we saw as an OC with these weapons, because what he did in Arizona was pretty impressive offensively, even though they didn't win a lot of games because the defense couldn't really keep them in
Very
it.
impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. He did really well over there offensively, so I'm excited to see what he can do in Detroit with even better pieces, and hopefully carry this team to another level, because all we're sitting here waiting for is just a fucking chance to play in a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? If we could just get to a Super Bowl, dreams would be answered. You don't even need to fucking win it at this point in time. Just fucking make it to one. I just want to see the Lions play in one overall. But moving on from the Lions, I've been watching a lot. The new season of Quarterback just dropped on Netflix.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys watched that or
forgot
not,
about
but
that. I gotta watch that.
fucking,
I watched it.
Baker Mayfield, because he's a big part of this season, along with Cam Ward and a few other pieces, and Jaden Daniels. But Baker Mayfield, we're talking about the NFC South last year, a team that started out so fucking hot last year, started out 6-2 and kind of just fell off at this point, to, Jason's excitement because his Carolina Panthers ended up winning that division last year. But
with a losing record, but
yeah,
that's
with a
neither here nor
losing
there.
record. But Baker Mayfield, he's coming up to a contract year. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What do you think of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year, Nathan? Do you think that they got a chance to come back, stay hot? Because I do think Baker is one of the better quarterbacks in the league, and he's super fucking exciting to watch. And being able to watch him on quarterback, kind of getting to know him as a person with his family and stuff like that. Like, I really like Baker. I've always been a Baker fan. What's your feeling on Baker? What's your feeling on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? What's your feeling on the NFC South this year?
Big sleeper. I remember last episode I mentioned him as a guy I would love to catch for, just with the grit he plays with. He's literally the Dan Campbell of football players right now, in my opinion. I feel like you can't count them out. They got Bucky Irvin back. Very similar to Jahmyr Gibbs type of game. He could catch, he could run around. He's really, really good outside zones, making plays outside the hashes. He could do all that. And you got Emeka Egbuka, you got Tez Johnson, you got Chris Godwin, you got that big receiver from West Georgia or Georgia State. I feel like you got a lot of guys you could work with here. So, and then you got, I believe Kate Otten's still there.
Yeah, I think so.
So, I feel like you got guys you could work with left and right offensively. So that division is going to be very interesting. And you mentioned Carolina's in that division too, correct?
Correct. They won it last year with a losing record. So
I remember because the Saints end up losing.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's going to be. I feel like them and Carolina are the team. One of my best friends plays for Carolina, so I know I'm going to be watching a lot of those games. But it's going to be. I think it's going to be one of those two with Bryce having an upward year last year, and really picking it up, and them getting them having Tet get a year under his belt. They just picked up one of Bryce's guys he played with in college, and John Mechie. We're going to see how XL does this year. It's going to be an exciting division for sure.
For sure. I know Scott just popped over the chat, said the Saints are going to steal the division, which Shog is, he looked pretty good last year going into that. So, but
yeah, he did.
Yeah. Cody, your thoughts on the NFC South? Where are we looking? And have you watched Quarterback on Netflix yet?
I have not. I saw that it was coming out. I just haven't had a chance to watch it, so I'm definitely going to check that out. But I agree with what Nathan was saying. Like, even with Baker, like I know Vita Vea just requested a trade, so that's a big loss potentially that Tampa's going to have.
Forgot about that.
If I'm Tampa Bay, though, with this contract with Baker, I'm giving him what he wants. I mean, he's done a lot for that team. He's turned that team around. I mean, he bet on himself, and I'm sure Nathan, you can like relate to that. Like, he kind of like was off the list. Nobody really wanted him. Then he played that year for the Rams, and then he goes to Tampa Bay, and look at him now. I mean, he's resurged his career. So I think Tampa Bay is going to take that division, and then, like I said, that Vita Vea thing is going to be a real big story for them. But I mean, they can't really afford to lose Baker. So I would think that they would just give him whatever he's asking for.
I think he would be worth that 100%, like, because he is one of the, I would rank him up as probably, at least if I had to rank quarterbacks in the league, in my opinion, I would rank him in top 5. You know what I mean? Like, he's an exciting player, and he's got all the weapons, or all the ability that he needs to play that position. And he's only getting better year after year after year. But Eric, your opinion on the NFC South?
It's gonna be it's gonna be Tampa's, I believe, because I don't know. Carolina is definitely gonna be it's gonna be between Carolina and Tampa Bay, I believe. Saints are still trying to figure out who they are. Chris Olave he's a good receiver, but he can't stay healthy. He gets hurt. He's got those head injuries, and that's what sidelines him. And he's a great wide receiver. He came from Ohio State. He's one of the better ones and all that. But it's they got to figure out their quarterback. They got a lot to figure out there, and I'm trying to think who else is in that division. You got Carolina, Saints. Oh, the Falcons. Okay, yeah, you got the Falcons. I don't know. Honestly, thinking about that, it depends on how the Falcons do, because they didn't look too bad towards the end of the season. Drake London started balling out. You have Bijan, that's one of the better running backs. So, reality, that division could be up in the air until like week 15.
I still think personally that the best quarterback in that division is Baker.
Yeah, 100%.
Jason, as a fan of the Carolina Panthers, so obviously you got a little connection to the NFC South. How you feeling about the NFC South this season? And have you watched Quarterback yet, the new season?
I have not yet. That's actually on my list on Netflix of things to watch. As far as the NFC South, like, I really want to go all in with Carolina, because I feel like there's some significant momentum that they could build off of, but like the team that does worry me, Scott put it out there, the Saints. The Saints could be the sleeper in this division this year. I feel like. So to me, while we'll take nothing away from Baker Mayfield, take nothing away from Tampa Bay, for me, it's going to be Carolina or New Orleans.
I could, it's right there. I'm not sleeping on Tampa Bay, though, because with Baker, I still think he's the best quarterback in that division regardless. But, Bryce Harper has arguments he could grow into something pretty special. Show looked good last year. And whatever Atlanta brings out, like that was their toss-up. Kirk Cousins last year started out for him. But
I can't think who it was. Pittman Jr.
No, it wasn't Pittman. Who was the rookie that they fucking got last year?
Michael Penix.
Penix. Like, depending on what he does. So that division is a toss up. But the other question,
him or Tua.
Yeah. What's that?
Him or Tua. I don't think they've announced a starter yet.
Oh, that's true. I forgot Tua went there. Shit. Like, yeah. And Tua is another answer. Tua is a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong. If he could stay healthy, he's had a lot of those head injuries too. So if he could stay healthy, when we're talking about the NFC though, the biggest team that we always have to look at that always seems to be the pain in the ass for every team is the Eagles. Do we think the Eagles are still in it this year? I just saw Nathan roll his eyes. Like, are we sick of the Eagles, or do you think they can compete? Nathan, I'm going to pass this off to you. Because I think the Giants are going to win that division, to be honest.
I just feel like it's hard to say this as a guy who's actively, wanting to play in the NFL, obviously. Yeah. But I think that Eagles window is damn near closed as of right now. And I just don't see them Okay. So if you couldn't get it done with AJ Brown, what makes you think you could get it done with Makai Lemon?
It's a good point. Good
Like
point.
I don't unless things change around because as everyone knows, Jalen Brown ain't a deep ball type of guy as far as throwing the 50-50 ball to give his guys a chance. Like AJ Brown should never finish a game with 3 catches, 2 catches, and then the next game have the same stats, and then the next game have the same stats. If we were talking about a different type of Jalen Hurts, with all due respect, I don't think we're talking about Amara in the top 5, and I think AJ Brown will be in that spot just off talent alone. But the production can never carry because Jalen Hurts don't like throwing the ball downfield. He don't like putting the ball in harm's way. So if you take a look at Makai Lemon's tape, in my opinion, he a better football player than he was a receiver. He came there as a corner. And a lot of the plays he made were super athletic jump ball plays or extreme yak plays. And I just don't see if you're not giving 6'2", 230-pound AJ Brown those chances, why am I more convinced that you're gonna give 5'10", 5'11", 195-pound Makai Lemon those chances? And I feel like it's hard to count them in as a solidified qualifier without that offensive superpower, you know?
No, I'm right there with you, and I think that this is the end of the Eagles' run. You know, what I mean, they've had a pretty good run over the last 5-6 years, but I think they're right there. And I'm going to pass this question off to Cody real quick. Cody, how you feeling about the Eagles? And then Jay, I have to step away for a second, so can you carry that from the Eagles real quick?
Yeah, no, I think that they're kind of done too. I think, with all the stuff that's going on in the locker room and everything like that, off the field issues, like I think there's too much happening right in that team right now that's causing the on the field things. Like Nathan said, like, Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback, but yeah, like if he's not throwing it to the star receiver and AJ Brown, like, that's a lot to put on a rookie to be like, okay, you're going to fill that slot of AJ Brown and let's see what we can do. So I unfortunately think that, I don't think the Eagles are going to be able to be as successful as they were the last couple of years.
So when I look at the NFC East, there right now in this offseason, there seems to be a lot of attention on the Eagles. Obviously, the New York Giants made some moves, but for me, the team that I'm going to be paying attention to again this year, Erica, we'll start with you. It's going to be the Washington Commanders. Do you see them still maintaining something of not a stronghold on the NFC East, but do you find them being a contender? Could they be the sleeper team in the East?
It depends on Jaden Daniels. It depends on how he is, if he comes out healthy or not, because he's had that elbow injury last year, and it definitely derailed their season after the season they had coming in and beating the Lions, the number 1 seed in the playoffs and all that. And in reality, it's on Jaden Daniels how he comes out. Because they didn't really lose a lot of players. They didn't really add too much, but I think if Jaden Daniels is healthy, they have a very good chance to put up a fight for that division. Honestly.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels a dog, man.
Yeah, like he definitely has. If he's healthy, you got to watch out for the Commanders. Period. Like they're not gonna go down easy.
No, I don't think that they will either. Cody, what's your opinion on Washington kind of being the sleeper team? But I mean, can we all agree that this is not the year that we're going to see this magical resurgence that Dallas Cowboy fans are clamoring for?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Their offense is so fucking good. George Pickens and CD having those years last year made me look at it a little different, but just getting over the hump of being able to get Dak to produce in the playoffs, that's going to be the telltale of everything because they have an overall well-rounded team. Dak has always had a pretty good O-line. So but having Pickens makes all that bigger a difference, in my opinion. And now with some time under his belt, I mean, those points per game don't lie. I really feel like that's gonna be we gonna see right now because Dak is coming to the end of his make it or break it type of scenarios right now. So he's always been serviceable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think Dak is a top 10 talent as far as the quarterback position in the league, but that the winning factor of everything that is expected of him now.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on this, Cody?
Yeah, you bring up the Dallas Cowboys real quick. Actually, I have a quick question from Nathan. Do you think, like, you were talking about CeeDee Lamb and everybody, do you think Dak Prescott is kind of holding the team down from being as successful as they could be?
Yes.
I wouldn't say that because I mean it takes all 11. So I can't just point to him because we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. I don't know the plays they call in. I don't know the type of meetings they having. I don't know if there's uh tension behind certain people directed towards another. Like I can't say he holding them back because from an outsider looking in, why the fuck would I not want to join the Dallas Cowboys? You throwing it to CD and George Pickens like that. I
Yeah.
mean, from a offensive mind, I'm saying, well, fuck. It's not the production itself. It's not the talent. Has to be something else. So
Gotcha. Yeah, I
yeah,
just
That's
wanted
all.
it from like a inside, football player type of perspective there. So
yeah.
I put that shit on ownership. Jerry Jones, like that they're not going to be successful until he either sells the team or hands it off. And I think then that at that point in time, the Dallas Cowboys, sorry, fuck, will become successful again. Or who knows? I mean, Dak is so up and down year after year. You can always tell, like, one year he's going to be an MVP candidate, the next year he's not going to be shit. The next year, the MVP candidate. He's up and down year after year. I don't know exactly where you guys left off, but while we're getting down to the time, I want to talk about when we're still talking about the NFC real quick before I finish off on the AFC. Seattle Seahawks, obviously the reigning Super Bowl champions. Do we
Mhm.
think they have what it takes? I know they lost their, Super Bowl MVP running back Kenneth Walker III to the Chiefs, by the way, Eric. Do we think that they have the ability to run it back again, or do we think they're going to have a major fall off this year? Nathan, I'm going to you first.
I wouldn't say a major fall off, but I mean, with losing your offensive coordinator and having that offensive resurgence that they had last year, it's definitely going to tell it being mid-season to be able to tell, where things are headed and not. Do they still have talent all around the board? I mean, fuck, they got a top 3 receiver in football, top 3, top 4 receiver in football in JSN, offensive player of the year, got Sam Darnold. They got good guys around them. They have a great defense with Nicky Manwari and Devin Witherspoon and all them guys around there. So, I mean, they have a good squad. Losing K9 definitely does hurt, but I mean, fuck, you can't deny the team they have with Rashid Shaheed being able to score on all, and in the 2 phases of the game he plays in. They have the stardom, but it's definitely going to take some adjusting to that new coach to see what system he brings, because if it's the same approach as what Kubiak brought with the run first and we gonna establish the run before we pass type approach, I mean, clearly that worked for them, but who's to say the opposite can't? Well, we can't know until we see it.
That's a good point. Cody, passing it over to you next.
yeah, no, for sure. I think Sam Darnold, great player, JSN, great player. But I think they're going to fall back a little bit with Kenneth Walker leaving. Obviously, with him being that Super Bowl MVP, I mean, he was a big reason on why they won. Um, I think they'll still make playoffs. They'll still be a tough team to play against. But as far as running it back Super Bowl wise, I don't think that will be happening.
I'm gonna have to go with. I think they'll make the playoffs. I think they'll barely squeak in, but I think losing Kenneth Walker is definitely going to hurt them more than they think. And your offensive coordinator. Look at when the Lions lost Ben Johnson. Coordinators are a big part of the game and all that. And I think they're going to take a step back, but I don't think too far. that great season Sam Darnold had in Minnesota when he was there. He could show what he can do around a team with that's, he's surrounded with good receivers, a good line, and all that. And he's got that in Seattle still. And like you said, defense wins championships. That ain't going to go away. Those guys are playing good defense. They all mesh well. And I could see them still being a very big threat, honestly, to the Rams.
That's a good point. Jason, Seattle Seahawks. What do you think they're going to do this year?
Stop mean mugging us, Jason.
Sorry, it's just my face. So if the Rams did not put themselves in the position that they have in the offseason here, I would say Seattle was going to go, at least to the NFC Championship. Like I believe there's still enough talent and enough momentum with that team that could take them pretty far. But the Los Angeles Rams, man, like they went all in, and I feel like, as much as it fucking sucks, I feel like we're going to be seeing the Rams in the Super Bowl. As a Lions fan, I think that sucks. You know what I mean?
Let's not forget they might get AD back too. Let's not forget that.
Right.
If he comes out of retirement, I'll put $1,000 for the Rams win the Super Bowl. If AD comes out, 100%.
Yeah, it's the Rams show in the NFC West, in my opinion. And I like the Seahawks. I've always rooted for the Seahawks when they've rose above, and they're going into the playoffs. And when all my other teams are gone, I'm like, okay, let me get behind Seattle, because that's not a team that a lot of people spend a lot of time focusing on until they force you to focus on them. But I don't know, man. Like it's all about the Rams in the West this year.
So, now that you brought up the Rams, before I move on to the AFC to find out where we're feeling the AFC, let's talk about the Rams a little bit. Nathan, the Rams obviously made some huge moves this season. They got Myles Garrett. AD is talking about coming out of retirement. I know he's been, down there working out with the team and stuff like that. Now, is the Rams, is this it this year? Like, are we looking at the next Super Bowl champions, the Rams? And I'm not mad at it, because you can see the fucking Stafford jerseys hanging behind Eric over there. Like, I'm a Stafford guy, always have been. Is this the season for the Rams? Would it be heartbreaking to see the Rams lose it after everything they go through? Because obviously it's an all-in year.
This team is reminding me a lot of the Green Bay Packers team that went like 15-1 and 16-1. And I feel like the teams with the most hype just can't. It's impossible to live up to the hype, So I would hate to say like lock them in for the Super Bowl, like that's it, and that. But you can't count out the fact that they're stacked everywhere. Like everywhere. They got a 1-2 punch at running back. They got DA and Puka at receiver. They have Terrence Ferguson at tight end, who's really productive, really, really good route runner, in my opinion. Have a great defense. They have the best offensive coach in football, in my opinion, right now. So offensive head coach, sorry. It's hard to count them out, but who else can you say is comparable? I feel like we're gonna see that championship game we saw last year as far as the Rams and the Seahawks. But yeah, man, the Rams are just so stacked. It's hard, especially if AD come back.
Yeah.
Like it's unfair. You got AD and Myles Garrett rushing a quarterback. Bro, what the fuck?
Be fucking nasty. And that's like, you were talking about all the pieces that they picked up on offense, or that they have on offense there. You start looking at their defense with Myles, with the possibility of AD coming back. They picked up McDuffie. Like, that defense is fucking stacked too. It's probably, on paper right now, looking to be one of the best defenses in the NFL, which could go up against those Broncos. You know what I mean? So maybe that's a Super Bowl matchup that we're looking at. Cody, same question for you. The fucking Los Angeles Rams, are they the team to beat this year?
Yeah, for sure. I don't see anybody that can kind of compete with them. Maybe Seattle, if it comes down to that. But yeah, with getting Myles Garrett, they're already a great team. Adding him, they got even better. And And if they do bring in Aaron Donald back, I mean, yeah, there's nobody that's going to be close to being able to compete with the Rams. So good for Stafford. Hopefully he'll get his second ring. But yeah, I don't see them, struggling against any of these teams this year.
Yeah, it's the Rams show. Just like Jason said, it's the Rams show. It's theirs to lose. They have all the pieces to do it. If injury bug starts getting them, that's the only thing I can really see slowing them down. And if Aaron Donald comes back, yeah, it's going to be a no-brainer. They're going to be in the Super Bowl. There's no one in the NFC that could compete with that if Aaron Donald comes back. Hands down. That dude's a freak of nature. He's still in great shape. It would just be you would have no time to throw the ball or even have a chance to run the ball in that defense because their linebacker core is very solid linebacker core. Their secondary is very well-rounded, and then you add AD and Myles Garrett to an already well line. Yeah, you're looking for there's no one's going to stop that. No offensive line's going to be able to compete with that. Who are you going to double team? Myles Garrett or Aaron Donald? You pick your poison. That's all it's going to be.
It's a good damn point. But now coming off that, I mean, I'm in the camp that the Rams are the team to beat in the NFC this year, and that'll go up 1,000 times if Aaron Donald comes back. But now we've discussed a little bit, early on in the NFL part here where we talked about the AFC and we were putting kind of the Broncos and the Chiefs on top of that. But at the same time, we never brought up the Patriots who went to the Super Bowl last year. Are the Patriots a team that we need to worry about, Nathan?
No. If Bo Nix don't get hurt, that's a whole different story, bro, in my opinion. I really don't. I don't think the Patriots have the offensive versatility to compete with the other guys we're talking about right now, especially losing Diggs. Obviously, A.J. Brown was a good pickup, but I don't see them being able to. That was a very easy walk that they had to the Super Bowl as compared to other teams, and they still couldn't get it done. And they got to the Super Bowl, and what the fuck? Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Dude, I'm right there with you. If Bo Nix never got hurt, they would have never been in the Super Bowl. It would have been
exactly
the
my
Broncos
point. Exactly my point.
Yeah. Like, I'm not as worried about them, but you got to bring them up because they were in the Super Bowl last season. Cody, your thoughts on the Patriots this year? A team to worry about, or did they get lucky last year?
No, they definitely got lucky. Like you guys said, if Bo Nix never went down. Drake May's a good quarterback and everything. I just think that it's not gonna be a team to worry about. I think they'll fall back a little bit. We might see them down the road, but yeah, easy. They had an easy road to the playoffs. But yeah, I don't picture them being in the Super Bowl in the next couple of years.
Yeah, they got lucky. They had an easy path to the Super Bowl, and they still couldn't get it done. They did not look like the better team or the best team in the AFC, that's for sure. Bo Nix didn't get hurt. We might have had a whole different Super Bowl champion. So,
yeah,
it would have been definitely a lot better game than what it was. It would have definitely been a more physical, more maybe high scoring game. You don't know, but yeah, I think they got lucky. They had an easy road there.
100%. Jason, your thoughts on the Patriots?
Yeah, they should. I was stunned that they even went to the Super Bowl last year, and I'm in total agreement with you. Had Nix not gotten hurt, we wouldn't even be discussing them right this second. We would be discussing more of the Denver Broncos, but we've already spent some time talking about them. The Patriots, they captured lightning in a bottle at the right time last year, and Lady Luck, dealt them a very favorable hand. The problem is they couldn't do anything with it. And we will not be talking about the New England Patriots on a significant level going into this season, in the latter part of the season, looking at the playoffs. They got lucky last year, plain and simple.
All right. Well, Scott disagrees with you. He says they're going to be winning the AFC East this year, but Scott always disagrees with us. And Nathan, you got some love for Amy. She said she loves you. This is my wife, by the way. She's a huge fan. But on top of that, let's wrap up the NFL. I want to know early Super Bowl predictions. Nathan, who's going to play in it this year?
I like Rams Broncos. That would be the time I would shit myself. Are you kidding me? My fucking favorite team in the NFL, my favorite NFL team that I've had since I was a kid, and the hometown team. Holy fuck, bro. That would be the craziest shit ever. So I'm going to say Rams Broncos.
And it's in LA too. So that would be one to fucking get your ass to.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I think the Super
I
Bowl's
think
in
it's
LA
at
this year
SoFi
coming.
Stadium.
Yeah, it's at SoFi. So like, yeah, that would be one hell of a game to try to make your ass to and watch. So if the Rams make it there, they could be playing at SoFi this year. Cody, what's your thoughts on the Super Bowl this year?
All right, Tim, I think you're going to like this answer.
I hope so.
I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I think it's going to be Rams and Chiefs.
I'm good with half of that. I'm good with half of that. I'm good with both of them, to be honest. Like, I'm good with it. But Eric?
Definitely the Rams from the NFC, but the AFC, my sleeper is going to be the Texans. I think the Texans are going to come out of nowhere. Getting David Montgomery, I think they're going to be out of nowhere.
He always likes to take that sleeper.
It was either that or I was thinking Bengals. You know, you can't count out Joe Burrow. He made it in 2020 when he had no offensive line and not a very good defense. And they got a little bit better this year. So you can't count on anybody.
Joe Burrow just chokes, brother. He made it once before. He ain't making it back there. If I put anybody in the AFC above the Chiefs, it would be the Bills. But my, and I'll always say this every fucking year, is going to be the Lions Chiefs, because that's what I want to see. Is that what's going to happen? Probably not. I'm going to go Rams Chiefs is what I think is going to be the Super Bowl this year. Jason?
Panthers Dolphins.
There he goes. Jason always takes the underdogs, Nathan. Don't look at him goofy. Sometimes it turns out all right. Sometimes the motherfucker picks just fine.
You know what? I'm going to agree with the Panthers just because one of my best friends plays there. So I'm going to root for them.
In all seriousness, and I know this goes against the grain, but Lions Bills in the Super Bowl.
Dude, that would be one hell of a party at my house, because my wife's a huge Bills fan, or should I say just a Josh Allen fan with a squishy cheeks.
He's so dreamy.
Yeah, she loves Josh Allen. So she'll rock her Bills gear and then switch it out whoever's winning, because she's got a lot of Lions gear too. So she'd be pretty fucking happy with that. But yeah, I the one thing we didn't even bring up was the Bills. Like, it's like real quick. Like, are the Bills the team that like the AFC has to worry about this year? Could this be Josh Allen's year? Or do you think they're just going to fall off? Because Josh Allen's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, in my opinion. And like, I just don't know if he's ever going to win it while with the Bills. He might have to leave the Bills like Stafford did the Lions. Nathan, do you agree with that?
I mean, couldn't get it done with Diggs. Is DJ Moore better than Diggs? No. I don't know if they made any change. And wait, no, that's the year where they had that top 3 defense.
Yeah, and they still couldn't get it done.
Is it any better now?
No. I think their best shot was last year. Like, if they were going to win it,
last year was the year. That was a very disappointing loss.
Yes, like that was their year to win it if they were going to win it. Like, I thought they were going to go all the way. Once the Chiefs went out, it was like, it's the Bills' year to win it, and it ended up being the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Like, that was a shitty loss. But yeah, I just don't know if he's ever going to do it with the Bills, but I think he has the ability to do it. He's got the talent. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Like, I just don't know if the Bills is where it's at. I think it might have to be a Stafford mood. Cody, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think regular season wise they'll be fine, but I think they'll do like they do every year and fall apart in the playoffs. So
just lose to Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that. Eric,
I think he can get it done in the Bills. They've always put talent around him. The defense is always pretty good. Like, they have lost some pieces. Granted, when they had that top 3 defense, that was probably his best shot. But I think he can get it done. Maybe not. Maybe this year. I don't know. We'll just have to see how the regular season plays out and how he stays healthy, because he does beat himself up a lot by running the ball. He does take a lot of hits.
All right, Jason, that question's to you to close out the NFL, and then after that, you know what to do.
Okay, we already went 15 minutes past. Your golf segment's over.
The golf segment is going to be real quick this week.
Now, Josh Allen. You know, we've talked a lot about that window of opportunity closing for a lot of teams. This, to me, you know, in terms of Josh Allen, like this is it for him. in his current situation. If it doesn't happen this year, it's not going to happen with the Buffalo Bills. He's going to have to move on to a different team or something, because it just isn't like Nathan was saying. Like he's had a couple of golden opportunities here, and whether it's it was Kansas City or New England. I mean, whatever is happening like that. We talk about the Detroit Lions window of opportunity closing. I feel like for the Buffalo Bills, for Josh Allen specifically with the Bills, like this is it. If it doesn't happen here, it ain't getting done.
Yeah, I mean, that's it either needs to happen real soon, or he needs to figure out what his future looks like, because I just don't see it with the Bills. And the Bills are a team that's very similar to the Detroit Lions, where we've all been praying for a Super Bowl, and we've come close a few times, just haven't been able to get over that hill and get there. But the one thing with the Bills is they've played in some Super Bowls, they just haven't won it. You know what I mean? So they haven't won one either. So we'll see what Josh Allen can do. I'm a big, fan of Josh Allen. I think he is top 5 in the league if I had to put, my ranking on him. And I think one day he will win one. I just don't know if it's with the Bills. But Jason, hit my music, brother.
It's that time of the show. It'll be sweet and short. Here's Tim Sheridan with the 2.5 goals scored.
This is Tim's 2 Minutes Golf Report, brought to you by the Sports World Podcast on the PFC Entertainment Network, which happens to be the most exciting portion of the show every week because we get to cover golf. This past weekend, we had the 3M Open, where we had Jackson Koivoon. I don't know how to pronounce his damn name, but this kid is exciting. He's young. He just became a pro, and you look at his record, he's won 7 of the last 14 tournaments he played in. This is his first PGA Tour win at 25 under. In second place, we had Scotty Scheffler, who just can't seem to get over that hump. We had a 3-way tie for third with Matsuyama, Harmon, and Phillips, and actually a 4-way, with McCarthy up there too. 2-way tie at 7th with Gio and Thompson. We had Knowles in 9th, and a 3-way tie at 10th with Woodland, Power, and Tom Kim came in 10th there. This coming up weekend, we have the Rocket Classic coming up, which me and Eric are going to be at. And I do have to make an announcement right now. Eric, can you point up that card up there in the front? At the Rocket Classic this weekend, which we will be at, I have a Sam Laporta autographed rookie card that the first person that comes up to me at the Rocket and shows me that they follow us on any portion or any part of social media will receive that card. So find me at the Rocket this weekend. I'll be there Sunday. So if you come up to me, you can be taking home that Sam Laporta autographed rookie card. So find me at the Rocket. I'll be putting out a lot of shit this week, post-wise. And the first person to find me gets to take that card home. So that's exciting. But that is the end of Tim's 2 Minutes Golf Report on the Sports World Podcast on the PFC Entertainment Network. Programming notes on next weekend, August 4th at 6:45 p.m. We have Caitlin Patterson from Wait But Baseball. So we're going to have a baseball heavy show. This is going to be exciting. Jason, you're going to be able to talk a lot of fucking baseball next weekend. So this girl right here, she watches every Tigers game and does content on every single Tigers game. So Jason, get ready for a lot of Tigers content next weekend.
Looking forward to it.
So this is going to be another great show. On top of that, Nathan, brother, I appreciate you coming on the show with us again. It's been awesome. And let everybody know where they can find you.
All my socials at Nathan is Black, Naythan. Hope you guys reach out and look forward to connecting with whoever finds me there.
All right. Perfect. And one thing I want to say to you, Nathan, is I know I've talked to you a lot and stuff like that, and we've talked off air and stuff like that. Keep your head up, keep grinding, brother, because God's going to put you exactly where you need to be, and you're going to be there. Like we believe in you. You got the talent, man. So don't let shit get in your way. Just keep pushing. Like, you're meant to be somewhere, and you're going to be somewhere. And I have a feeling the future is very bright for you. And as long as you keep grinding, I know you got a lot of showcases coming up. and you're going to hit on one of the. Hopefully, we'll see you in the UFL that's coming up next season. I know it's kind of the downtime right now for football, so like we're going to see you here somewhere here eventually. Just keep grinding, brother. Like you got it. All right.
Hell yeah. I appreciate you, man. Really appreciate that.
I appreciate you, man. We're some of your biggest fans, and I'm still waiting for you need to get a team so I can get a signed jersey on the wall. Like I'm waiting for that.
Definitely.
One of these spots over here is meant for you. So as soon as you get there, like we got to link up so I can get that jersey. And I'll be contacting you again. We'll get you back on. This was a lot of fun. So it was a little bit different than our last show. So and I know Jason got your eyes wide there a few times because yeah, he has some hot takes. Cody, brother. Appreciate you like always. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on. As always, it's a great time. You can find me at Catching Up with Cody on all social media. Every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time, I do a live episode. So if you could check that out as well. And yeah, Nathan, just to piggyback off of what Tim said, like just bet on yourself, man. Don't listen to all that outside negativity and everything, and it'll all work out. I've seen some of your stuff, and you're a good ball player, so keep it up.
I appreciate that, dog. We got to get in touch for sure.
Yes, for sure. I'll be reaching out to you.
Yeah, you two got to link up. Cody's got a great show. We've been on it quite a few times. Like, you guys got to link up and do something. So, other than that last programming note, the Kirby Joseph helmet giveaway is still on. We're just a touch over like 240 followers left before we give away the autographed Kirby Joseph mini helmet on TikTok. So follow us on TikTok and you have a chance to win that mini helmet. Other than that, Jason, I know you got 50 million fucking shows this week to plug. So plug those, brother.
Yeah, real quick, Nathan, again, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show. Good things happen to great people, and you're one of the best. So we are very much following your story, and we are pulling for you. You're going to do some great things, no doubt about it. Cody, always a pleasure talking to you, my friend. We do have a huge lineup this week. It is it's pay-per-view week, if I can be honest with you. In addition to what we just did here tonight with the Sports Reel podcast, on Thursday you're going to get a brand new episode of Ball Game with Vinny and me. You can actually see some previews of that right now on TikTok, over on the Sports Reel podcast TikTok page. Friday, we will be live on ONTV beginning at 6 p.m. for the annual SummerSlam preview spectacular, where we're breaking all the things down from this big 2-night pay-per-view event that's going to be in Minneapolis this Saturday and Sunday. Cannot wait to break that down. Monday night, we're going to be live at 6 p.m. for the Ringside Inquirer. It will be a reaction show to SummerSlam and a preview for the Monday Night Raw that's going to be happening. And then we're right back here on next Tuesday, as Tim said, at 6:45 for the latest episode of the Sports Reel podcast. We certainly appreciate everybody who tuned in with us live here tonight and those who watch us on demand on the RSS feed. Go out this week, be awesome to yourselves and to each other, and we'll see you next week right here on the Sports Reel podcast on the PFC Entertainment Network.
Let's go, Tigers. And let's go fucking Nathan Mulligetta. You got this shit. Ball out, brother.